Good morning, everybody. Mike Missanelli Show on the air. Phillies with a win. They're 3-1. The Braves are 0-5. Woo! Man. Well, they're playing some bad teams, so they should be 3-1. But yesterday, they explode against the bullpen. Now, you could take this two ways. You could say, well, listen, Phillies offense is eventually going to come around. They're eventually going to get you. It doesn't matter when. Or you can go, what is the deal with them against mediocre starting pitchers? Game 1, well, Gore's a good pitcher. 1 hit and 13 Ks. Game 2, Jake Irvin. They got 7 hits off him in 5 innings, only scored 2 runs. Mitchell Parker. Game 3, 6 in the third, 7 hits, 0 runs. And yesterday, Herman Marquez, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs. 2 runs versus starting pitching this year. 0 runs against starting pitching in 3 of the last 4 games. Are we worried about that? No. And here's why. Because starting pitching is really hard to get a beat on early. Starting pitching is always ahead of the hitters when you first start the season. That's the way it goes in baseball, time immemorial. Besides that, these guys are up against a formidable lineup. They are really, this is like their Super Bowl when they're pitching against the Phillies. These guys are trying to make every pitch that they have in the arsenal against them, and they've been successful so far. So, again, early in the season, I don't worry about a thing. But yesterday, Topper showing a little flexibility. Goes with a hunch. Normally, he does not go with the hunch. Key part of the game. 1-0, bottom of the 7th. Stott not getting enough credit for a 2-out double. Turner, pinch hitting in the situation, gets a walk, 6-pitch walk. All of a sudden, they bring in a right-hander named Victor Vodnik from the KGB League, I think. Victor Vodnik comes in, and Sosa is the scheduled hitter. Now, if I'm Topper, I'd go to Cody Clemens there. Cody Clemens can rake. I got the left-hander in an advantageous position. He decides to stick with Mr. Sosa. Big 2-run double to the right center field gap, and that unleashed the Phillies to the point where they score 6 runs. So I want to get the lowdown here from Topper hater, Bill Colarulo. Then we'll go to Topper admirer, Ray Dunn, today on the show. Bill, what did you think of what he did there? He does pinch hit Turner, but he doesn't pinch hit for Sosa.
Yeah, good morning, Mike. First of all, I wouldn't say I'm a Topper hater, okay? I am critical of Rob Thompson when there's times to be critical, but I gave him credit right in the moment. I actually tweeted it out during that 7th inning. I loved what Rob Thompson did because I feel like, yes, you're right, Bryson Stott not getting enough credit, big double there. But I feel like Rob Thompson doesn't always make that decision to pinch hit for Brandon Marsh in that situation. And we've talked about this before where he wants to show confidence in Brandon Marsh against left-handed pitchers. He had given Trey Turner the day off because of the back spasm. So in a lot of circumstances, I could have seen Rob Thompson trying to justify keeping Brandon Marsh in the game and saying we were going to just rest Trey today. We want him to be healthy for 162. But he doesn't do that. He makes a decision to pinch hit against a left-handed pitcher with Trey Turner. Got to give Trey credit. It was a great at-bat, drawing the walk. And then you're right, makes the next decision to keep Edmundo Sosa. Could have gone to the left-handed bat, Cody Clemens. He doesn't. He goes with Edmundo Sosa. And Sosa comes up big with the 2-run double. What else I liked was putting Sosa in that 9-hole. Like, you could even go back before the game by making the decision, and we talked about this on the air yesterday, making the decision to not break up the lefties at 7 and 8, and you put Sosa at 9, that allows you to go righty-lefty when the lineup turns over. So what happens now? They bring in the right-handed reliever to face Sosa. Sosa comes up big. That allows Kyle Schwarber now to come up, and he gets to face a right-handed pitcher, and what does he do? He puts it in the seats. It's not even June, and Kyle Schwarber is in his June mode. He's going to have a monster season. I liked everything I saw from the Phillies yesterday. Max Kepler, my man. Max Kepler going yard.
By the way, the new heartthrob apparently in town.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. People, yeah, the ladies are digging.
As they should.
Max Kepler.
As they should, but he's been Look, if he can I know it's only been 4 games, but he's played in 3 of them. If he can keep hitting the ball the way he's hitting the ball.
All right, so it doesn't bother you that they haven't been any good against starting pitching?
It doesn't bother me because there's a reason why in baseball you got to get 27 outs. Like, what I love most about baseball is you can't run out the clock. It's the only sport where you can't run out the clock.
Waxing poetic about baseball.
It's true, though.
Got to get 27 outs.
It is the truth. You have to get 27 outs. You can't run out the clock. So this lineup being as deep as it is, this is what you get. There's going to be times where maybe they're not going to be able to hit the starting pitchers, but guess what? You're not getting 27 outs against this lineup. It's not happening.
Well, you're not certainly if you're the Rockies or the Nationals getting 27 outs with the bullpen the way it is, and that's why I am so enamored with having a great bullpen from top to bottom. A lot of teams don't, and you saw the results. So, Ray, couple of issues on the table there. First of all, I thought it was the wrong move, but they got the right result out of it, not pinch hitting Cody Clemens for Sosa. But also, there are woes against starting pitching. Your thoughts, Ray?
All right, starting with the decision not to pinch hit Cody Clemens, I was cool. I just like it the way Edmundo's swinging the bat right now, and I don't necessarily think you're getting that much better from Cody Clemens. So in that instance, I liked it. The actual decision while I was playing manager at home that I couldn't understand is why Turner was left on the base paths. The guy's got a bad back. Why not just bring in Rojas to run for him there? It's not like you're losing a lot running with Rojas there anyways. He's good.
Well, you don't want to use 2 players there.
Well, he ended up using 2 players because Rojas comes in for defense.
Yeah, but okay. I get it. But Turner scored on that play. So
Yeah, he did.
He can run. He can still run.
He can still run. I'm sitting there saying, hey, he's got back spasms. Why not bring in a guy who's going to come in for him anyways to run, and you're not losing a lot with him running there. But that's me really, nitpicking
you're over.
at what
You're
he did.
overdoing it.
Because I think he did a good job there in terms of, you mentioned it, Bill, when you say that's not a decision he usually makes. He usually doesn't make the decision to burn 2 guys in one move by pinch hitting and then replacing that guy defensively. And he certainly doesn't usually have the guy that's having the day off come in and pinch hit. Usually wants to get him off the feet for a full day.
So yeah, he's evolving.
I thought that was a good decision from him. And in terms of the starting pitching, this is a team that is hitting bad bullpens. You got to do that to get the wins you need throughout a 162-game campaign. I think we're going to learn more when they actually face teams that have something coming out of the pen, because you can see why the Nationals and Rockies stink. They've got bad bullpens. Take advantage of what teams are bad, and then we'll see what you do against better teams coming down the line.
They really do. All right, so today, football-wise, the tush-push vote could come down, or it could get tabled. My sense is that tush-push is gone. I think it is gone.
You'd be very happy about that.
I got instincts that it's gone. So we'll see. We'll ride that for as long as we can. And now I got a shocker for you. I am being told by various sources who I trust that the Sixers will look to trade Joel Embiid and Maxey and a number 1 pick,
April Fools,
for Giannis Antetokounmpo and another player that would make up the salary.
Is this April Fool's? Is this an April Fool's joke?
What?
Ray, is this an April Fool's?
Are you doubting my sources?
There is no way in hell that they would trade Joel and Tyrese Maxey. There's no way they would trade.
Hold it a second. Hold it. You're not thinking. To trade Joel Embiid, you've got to now sweeten the pot. Okay? You got to find a team that has gotten the maximum out of what they have. The Giannis team is not going to win anything. So, by that standpoint, I'm telling you, I've talked to somebody who is really in the know about this. To sweeten the pot, to move Embiid, you've got to include Maxey, and you've got to include a number 1 pick. And you got to take back a little bit of salary in addition. So, some other player from the Bucks would have to come here with Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Ray, do you want to engage with this?
I don't know. You're sitting there. You want to engage with it?
No. I want people to think about this and tell me that this does not make sense for both parties.
I can't tell if this is a shtick.
Would I shtick you?
Yes, you 1,000%.
Would I shtick you today?
1,000%.
I am telling you that I have talked to somebody who is not a Sixer person. This is somebody who is plugged into the league. First of all, forget about whether you think I'm telling the truth or not. Does it make sense to you?
No,
Why not?
I wouldn't trade Maxey.
Why not?
I wouldn't move on.
Why would you care about Maxey at this point if you're going to turn over your team and you got Jared McCain there?
Well, because you're getting Giannis back.
You're getting Giannis, yes, and you got Jared McCain, who can't play together with Maxey. You're not thinking it through.
I would be worried about it.
610-632-0975 is how you come into the show. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. We're going to hear from you on the text board about this. I'm telling you, it's real. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Tyrone Johnson.
They're in the Sixers.
All right, so Bill, if that trade included Embiid and not Maxey, but Embiid and Grimes and number one picks, would you do it?
I drive them there myself.
You would?
Yeah.
So it's Maxey that's preventing you from, like, seriously?
Well, because what are you getting back?
Well,
You're
first of all,
just Giannis?
Can Maxey carry a team?
No.
Okay, we've already established that. Good player. Can he carry a team? No. Well, what's the difference then? Why would you?
Because
with McCain and Maxey, they clearly can't play together. Do you like McCain?
I like McCain. I mean, it's been a small sample size.
All right.
I like
Maxey,
McCain.
is that untouchable to you that you would not get rid of the burden that has been Joel Embiid?
Yeah, but then you're inheriting another big contract with Giannis.
But you're inheriting a guy that can play.
You are, but Giannis has injuries too.
Where? Marginal injuries. The guy plays hard every game. You don't have to worry about him.
I actually was saying the Brooklyn Nets are really pushing to try to get Giannis.
Well, forget about the Brooklyn Nets here. Just play along with this premise, okay?
All right, so
you just refuse to give in here.
So you're saying Embiid, Maxey, and the first-round pick this year. That's top 6.
No, next year.
Do they have a first-rounder next year? I think they do. Nah, I don't think. I still don't know if I would do it.
What are you? Let me ask you this. You've already seen what the Sixers are, right? So you're saying Embiid and Maxey, it could run back the same old thing, and you're more comfortable with that.
All right, so it would not be this year's top 6 pick.
No.
Embiid, a future first, Tyrese Maxey, and you get back Giannis, and they're going to have to make the money right, but not a game changer. And then your plan would be Giannis, Paul George.
My plan is
Paul George is still on the team.
Well, you try to move that contract somewhere as well. But my plan is that you need to start over. All right? And Giannis has several years left. You can build around a guy like Giannis more than you can build around a guy like Embiid. Can you not?
I guess at this stage.
And then you sell real short on Paul George just to move the contract.
If somebody wants it.
Somebody will take it if it's worth it.
I don't know. I know you're saying sources are telling you this. I'm calling April Fools. I can't imagine that this is a real proposition.
I cannot believe that you could doubt my sources. As many years as I've been in this business, you're going to doubt my sources? That's insulting.
I'm not doubting your sources.
Insulting.
I'm doubting you trying to pull the wool over my eyes.
This is something that a source has reported to me very seriously. Okay? I want to know how you feel about it.
My feeling is going to the feasibility of all this happening and whether or not this is a needle mover or this is just shuffling decks on the Titanic. Like, ultimately bringing Giannis in here to make the salaries match with what a Maxey and Embiid movement would be, you're going to have to inherit another contract that someone does not value as that good.
Who cares?
But that doesn't make your team that much
Giannis.
better.
Wait, getting Giannis doesn't make your team better than what you have now?
If Giannis is the one guy you get, you still have Paul George here, and you inherit another bad contract to get Giannis, that means you're going to have one star with 2 big laden contracts. You don't
necessarily have to inherit a bad contract. You just inherit a player who's not in their starting rotation. Who's a good player? I don't know. It's somebody who's a good player.
But you got to match up. Maxey has the huge contract and Embiid. So if you're making that trade, you got to make it equal.
Okay.
Right
now,
make it equal. Looking at trying to make it equal for them, the only salaries I'm able to take from them is some combination of Kuzma, Lopez, and Portis.
You wouldn't take Kuzma?
I'm telling you, why would they give you Kuzma, Portis?
Kuzma's a journeyman at this point of his life. Kuzma's expendable for anybody at this point.
So then why do you want a guy that's expendable?
Because you want to get rid of you want to change up the dynamic of your team.
I'm not sure going to get a guy who's going to go into his age 31 season with 4 more years on his contract.
All right, what's the text board saying? The text board saying is the text board on. But here's the thing: you cannot possibly come back with the same team next year. Can't. It's about really. You're going to come back with the same team. You're going to take the chance. Embiid, George, all these guys that they have, Maxey who can't play with McCain, that's going to be magic. Right. You don't have to change right now. You don't have to change the dynamic of the team.
You got Jim from Johnstown here. Do the trade. Time to start over. Ever since that ball bounced on the rim and went in, that Raptors game, things haven't been the same.
That's my point. You have a stagnant situation right now. The only way you can change the situation is change the dynamic. And changing the dynamic means changing it with Embiid now. Because somebody would take a chance on him being healthy next year. Some team that has tried to go to the well, has not been able to get over the top, now would want to try something like that.
But why would the Bucks want that?
Well, I mean,
Why would they want to trade Giannis
the
for?
The Bucks are going nowhere with their current configuration. You got to look ahead. Why would the Clippers trade Paul George? They weren't going any further with Paul George.
They just didn't re-sign him.
But they didn't want to re-sign him because they weren't going any further with him.
Well, they didn't want to give him that fourth year.
Okay, if he was that important, they would have given him a fourth year. They said he's not that important. We need to change our dynamic. It's the same with the Bucks. The Bucks aren't going anywhere right now with Giannis. They would take the chance of going somewhere with Embiid because there's no other choice for either franchise not to change it up.
Well, if you threw Maxey in, I think the Bucks may want to do it.
Okay.
Now, Neil on the YouTube chat.
Why do you think that I've given you this? Because it's feasible. Because the Bucks now would, okay, I'm getting Maxey along with this. Okay, that I'm not going to do this 100% for Embiid. I can't count on that. But if you're going to throw in that guy, then I got something here.
Yeah, Neil on the YouTube chat says he would do it if it was Embiid, McCain, and a first-round pick.
It's not
instead
McCain,
of Maxey.
Okay? It's not McCain. It's Embiid, Maxey. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
And that's the tough part. So you think Maxey is so not expendable that you would not make that deal?
No, yes, because to Ray's point that I agree with, you bring in Giannis to play with Paul George. So you're going to have to get bad contracts back.
You're trying to also move Paul George. You're trying to change the dynamic completely. You now have a marquee player that you can count on every day in Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is what you don't have now. And you're telling me that will not improve your situation?
I don't think it gets you to an NBA Finals.
I'm not saying it gets you to an NBA Finals.
But that's what
I'm saying. Does it improve the stagnation of your franchise right now?
Sure, I guess considering that people are over
I broke you down.
Yeah, but
I broke you down.
But I don't want mediocrity. I don't want them to just be a playoff team.
You're going to be mediocre.
I think with Giannis, Paul George, and then bad contracts.
Why do you keep bringing up Paul George when I'm telling you would also move that contract?
I just think you're acting like that's an easy thing to do, and I don't think it is.
Okay, I think it's real easy. I think a contender would take a shot on him. 610-632-0975. That's how you get into the show. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies win the home opener. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies bats came alive late to power a 6-1 win in the home opener over the Rockies. Edmundo Sosa had a go-ahead double in the seventh, and homers from Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, and Nick Castellanos put the game away for the Phils. Phillies off today for hosting the Rockies again tomorrow night. Down at the NFL owners' meetings, the debate rages on about the future of the Tush push as the Packers' proposed ban is being discussed and potentially put up for a vote today. Nick Sirianni addressed that. The Eagles' offseason, the future of Dallas Goedert. We met with the media this morning. Here's what he had to say about the veteran tight end.
Right now, he's on our football team, and obviously Dallas Goedert has meant a lot to us. We'll see how that plays out. He's a heck of a football player, heck of a leader, and want to be able to have back as many guys as you possibly can, but that is not the reality of the NFL.
We'll keep you updated with anything going on with the Dallas Goedert situation. And, of course, if we get any sort of resolution to the Packers' proposed ban of the Tush push. Elsewhere in Philadelphia sports, last night the Flyers beat Predators 2-1. The 76ers return to action tonight against the New York Knicks up in New York at 7:30. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring today. Robert Half is here to help. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
10:30, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, so we got my show sheet here, and Ray's got all the scores. He always recaps the scores. So we got Saturday, Inter Miami 2, Union 1. Sunday, Raptors beat the Sixers. Monday, yesterday, Phillies 6, Rockies 1, Flyers 2, Preds 1. Flyers with 3 straight now. And games today, 76ers, Knicks. Ray has conveniently forgot about the Crown Tournament where Villanova plays tonight. Ray, was that intentional? You forgot about Villanova?
I don't know how I forgot about the Crown.
Villanova, V for the new coach, new NIL funds coming in. They're in the Crown Tournament. Everything is good on the mainline campus.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know how I'd let that one off the hook. I'm sorry.
Willer's not coaching in this, though, right?
No. Doesn't matter. They got the new outlook there.
I don't know. Is anybody watching? Is this even televised
The
tonight?
Crown Tournament was on last night. Nebraska played last night.
The only reason it exists is because of television.
That's exactly right.
Obviously, we want more college basketball. Of course, this is for the students. It's not for the money. But
You could tell. See, Temple guy, he's not even thinking about Villanova. Me, I'm not a Temple guy nor a Villanova guy. I thought about Villanova playing in the Crown Tournament tonight because one of their guys could become the all-time leading scorer in school history. Ray left that out of the show sheet.
Left it out.
Left it out.
You going to watch it
Temple.
tonight, Ray?
no,
Ah,
absolutely not.
Temple
There's
guy.
baseball on today.
No way. All right.
By
A lot
the
of
way,
baseball.
just real quick,
Now, breaking sports news
breaking
from
sports news.
97.5 The Fanatic
Sixers
and
have traded Embiid
97.5thefanatic.com.
and Maxey to the Bucks, right?
nope.
What?
Tush Push vote has been tabled.
Oh, you cowards.
I knew it.
You cowards.
I knew
The
it.
tush push vote has been tabled. Oh, you Eagle fans, rejoice.
I don't think
Climb the polls.
I do not think you rejoice. Them tabling this vote until May, in my opinion, is a very bad sign for the tush push. Because I think what this signals is that there wasn't enough support to ban it this time around, so they want to take more time to try to convince people to ban this thing. Because if they felt like it was going to get banned, they would have voted on it. It would have been banned.
Not enough votes.
The fact that they're tabling it means they need to do more politicking behind the scenes. It means Roger Goodell's probably on board with banning it. The NFL's probably on board with banning it. And now they just need to convince more owners to vote against
Wait a
it.
minute.
I think it's a bad sign.
Goodell is pretty close to Jeffrey Lurie.
Yeah, I think this is a bad sign, though.
You think most of the owners wanted out?
No, I don't. That's why I think they tabled the vote until May. Because why else? Why not just vote on it today?
Okay, if most of the owners are against or for, they don't care about the tush push, why not vote? Why would Goodell lobby to ban it?
Because I think he wants it out of the game. For whatever reason.
He wants it out of the game.
That's the only reason why I would see the commissioner saying we're going to table the vote. Because they wanted to provide more evidence to try to change people's minds. Why else push the vote?
Well,
what would be the
I
point?
don't know, I'm getting confusing mess here. You tell me Goodell thinks that the majority of the owners don't want the tush push anymore? And that's why he's going to lobby for it for a vote in May?
No. What I'm saying is I think that there is a minority of owners, the Packers, the Bills, the Rams, who want this banned.
Okay.
The Cowboys want it banned.
Okay.
And I think if they would have put it to vote today, they would not have gotten 24 of 32 owners.
You just got done telling me that the minority of owners want it banned. Why would then Goodell want more time to convince more owners to ban it?
Because he doesn't like the play.
Why doesn't he like it?
I don't know.
Why does he care? He is a mouthpiece for the owners. If the majority of the owners don't care about it, Goodell would be in favor of what the majority of the owners want.
It appears there's no other reasonable explanation for postponing the vote. There's no other reasonable explanation.
You hear what I'm saying here? Like, why would Goodell want more time to lobby for a minority of the ownership, and especially because he's close to Lurie, why would he want that time to lobby against the tush push?
He must not like the play. That's what I'm saying.
I swear to God, Bill, I go around in circles.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He must not like the play.
Why would he not like the play when he
doesn't have an opinion now?
Well, he's merely a reflection of what the owners want. He's not going to go against what the majority of owners want.
Roger Goodell has his own opinions about the play. Yes, he is the mouthpiece of the owners.
Yeah. When does Roger Goodell ever said that he doesn't like the tush push?
I got to look at his quotes on it because I do remember him saying some things. Hold on.
Really?
So back in December of 2023, there was a report. Roger Goodell reportedly wants the tush push removed from the NFL permanently.
Okay.
According to a recent report from The Athletic, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell wants the play banned.
Because he doesn't think it's a football play?
And this is going back to December of 23 now.
That's a long time ago.
A long time. So
Dude,
there's
that's 2
always
years.
been these reports that he doesn't like the play.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I think if they would have gone to vote today, it wouldn't have passed.
I just don't see.
So they
Roger
push
Goodell serves at the behest of the majority of the ownership. And even if he doesn't like the play, if the majority of the owners don't care, except for the little minority of 5, then why would he care? Like that's he's not he's not one man on a mission to improve the game. He's a reflection of the ownership. That's why he gets paid $60 million. Because if he didn't go along with the owners, he'd be out on his ass.
That's true, but he's not disagreeing with all the owners. I mean, like Jerry Jones, who's a pretty powerful owner, wants it banned. John Mara, who's a pretty powerful owner, wants it banned.
So Jeffrey Lurie, powerful owner, he wants it. All right.
Yeah, I
Let's
I
get
would
to
have
another
rather
thing.
the vote happen
We're
today.
going to take a break. And on the other side, the coach, Nick Sirianni, has spoken. And in what he's spoken about, no longer, in my mind, includes a pretty valuable member of this team. And we'll get to that on the other side. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico.
All right, 1041, Mike Missanelli Show. Reaction, Embiid, Maxey for Giannis and a player. And by the way, you have to throw a number one pick in there, future number one pick. Just to move on from Joel Embiid and the contract.
And for those just joining us, this is not an April Fool's joke from Mike. It is a proposal that he's hearing from a source. I don't want people to think we're breaking news here.
I'm telling you that this source works for another team.
Interesting.
All right.
Interesting. I wouldn't do it.
Because you are so in love with Tyrese Maxey.
It's not only that. It's just that to make it work with two monster contracts, I think you're going to have to inherit more bad contracts. I don't love the idea of Giannis with Paul George. You think that they can then trade Paul George as well.
You can move Paul George in this.
Which is another big contract. So how are you getting back? You're getting more bad money back.
Yeah. You got a team who is on the verge of being a contender, who needs a veteran player who can wash this whole season with Paul George. There's always another idiot that will take a chance on a established league player.
Always another idiot.
There's always another idiot because they are like intoxicated by the name value, the name recognition.
Let me ask you this then. Mm-hmm. If your source is correct, and this is what's being rumored this offseason, then that would mean Daryl Morey's coming back? Because if the Sixers are considering this, that would mean Daryl Morey's considering it, which means he's making the decisions again this offseason.
Not necessarily. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, Bob Myers making the decision?
Not necessarily, my friend. Let's move on to something else. You know, this tight end here for the Eagles is a pretty important player in my view. Now, I know they've got a contract situation, but Nick Sirianni kind of turned over his hand when asked the question about this. You listen to this soundbite regarding Dallas Goedert and whether he's going to be a member of this team, and you tell me what you interpret.
Right now, he's on our football team, and obviously Dallas Goedert has meant a lot to us. We'll see how that plays out. He's a heck of a football player, heck of a leader, and yeah, want to be able to have back as many guys as you possibly can, but that is not the reality of the NFL.
Oh, won't see him no more.
There is no question that just was the death knell for Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, I think this just confirms what we've all been assuming. When there's smoke, there's fire. There's been so many reports.
Right now, he's on our team?
Yeah, he's gone.
Like that didn't reveal anything?
Nah, he's gone. And look, the problem is I agree with you that Dallas Goedert is a very important part of this offense. He's a dual-threat tight end. He can run block extremely well, and he's a threat in the passing game. All tight ends aren't like that. The issue, though, is he's going to carry close to a $12 million cap number this season, and the guy hasn't played a full season since his rookie year.
Let me ask you this. Who else do they have?
They got Grant Calcaterra.
Okay.
They signed... Right, help me with these names now.
Harrison Bryant.
Harrison
the guys whose name starts with a K that I keep forgetting.
Yeah, it's...
Are you kidding me?
It's what's his name? Who did they sign?
Wait, what's his name?
Harrison Bryant, and they signed Kylan Granson. And they still have E.J. Jenkins
You kidding
from
me,
last year.
You're kidding me.
Oh, it's an issue. It's
okay,
certainly an issue.
Here it is. Their second-round pick is the tight end from Bowling Green.
Possibly. It would make sense with the quarterback coach.
It has to be. The second-round pick has to be the tight end.
Yeah, or maybe...
If that kid gets to him.
Or they make a move at some point in training camp or before training camp.
Let's hear that. Can we hear that again, Ray? This is unbelievable how he just backs himself into a corner. So in other words, Howie's already told him. Yeah, well, we're not. Yeah, you got to figure out a way to spin it. But he's going. I just wanted to let you know that we're not going to proceed with him.
Right now, he's on our football team, and obviously Dallas Goedert has meant a lot to us. We'll see how that plays out. He's a heck of a football player.
Has meant a lot.
And, yeah, want to be able to have back as many guys as you possibly can, but that is not the reality of the NFL.
Oh my God! There
won't see him no more.
There couldn't be a clear path.
Oh yeah, he's definitely gone. I think the issue now becomes whether or not they're able to trade him, or if it's just a flat out post June 1st cut. I'm looking at the numbers here. So if they trade him now, I can't imagine they trade him before June 1st because that would carry an even bigger dead cap number. But if they trade him, or let's say they cut him post June 1st, they save $4 million against the cap this year, $18 million against the cap next year. So that's why they got to make the move now, because they want to. This is more too about next season and the cap
Yeah, I
number.
just hope they're not cutting themselves that short, man. There's been a lot of turnover. And like I say, I think next year is that comeback year, that come down year. Too much turnover going on with trying to replace guys.
But he has. I love Goedert. I love when he's healthy.
Get it, but Bill,
he's never healthy.
You really don't have an alternative. Are you telling me Calcaterra can be that adequate of a player in his spot as an everyday starter?
But look, he did just survive 7 regular season games without Dallas Goedert. Calcaterra started 13 games this past season.
I know.
So
They like him that much?
He's not Dallas Goedert. He's not. He doesn't block as well as Goedert does. But again, it's a long offseason. You don't know. Maybe they find a tight end. Not if they can't get somebody in the draft. Maybe there's a player that becomes available late in the training camp. But I don't love it. I don't love it, but I understand it from a financial perspective, because when Roseman spoke about the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade too, he highlighted what we've been saying. There's a lot of young guys on this team that are going to get big paydays over the next 2 or 3 years, and you got to start to look ahead. And I think that's what they're doing with Goedert too. It's the $12 million cap this year, but it's also saving on the cap next year when some of these big contracts come due.
All right. So let's get Nick on the tush push, since they've already decided to table this. So I guess I don't know if that's good news or bad news. Bill thinks it's bad news that they're going to lobby eventually, and they're going to eventually get enough votes to get rid of it. But Nick waxed poetically about the tush push. Nick Sirianni 5, Ray, where he talks about the evolution of the tush push.
No, I don't think so. He was just trying to win football games and trying to get first downs. It was a cool evolution of the play. As I think back, we had a lot of success with it in Indy with Jacoby Brissett, particularly. He would come in for Andrew Luck to do some of those with Andrew coming off of an injury. And then, he would do this. He did it when he started in 2019, and then 2020 when we had Phillip Rivers, he was a specialist in that as well. And he went in for Phillip like he did Andrew. And then, in 2021, it wasn't, we didn't run a lot. I think we were 13 of 14 for it. But one of those in that time, we motioned Dallas Goedert into the backfield and gave him a little extra help. And now we had seen that on tape from somewhere, and that led us into 2022, where we played Detroit. We ended the game with a quarterback sneak. Wasn't anybody pushing, but we ended the game on a 4th and 1. I think we were up 38-35 with a quarterback sneak to be able to kneel it out. And then kind of from there, it was like, that was a pretty important quarterback sneak to happen. Let's make sure we get him, and so that kind of evolved from there. We, did different formations, different pushers, and then we turned it into 2 pushers, and it was a cool evolution.
Cool evolution. So, in other words, the evolution went, we can't put the slow white guy back there to do the tush push. Like we got Jacoby Brissett. We'll throw him to the wolves.
Think about this for a second.
No Andrew Luck and no Phillip Rivers. They can't do it.
No, but think about this for a second, because I know you hate the play.
I don't hate it. I just think it's needless.
It's and this is going to sound like Sirianni love coming from me,
Sirianni.
But it's very impressive that Nick Sirianni and now Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles were able to create a play and perform it at such a high level that the entire NFL now has to legislate. That's the only way we could stop it, is because when the Philadelphia Eagles run the play that they created and they mastered, we got to legislate against it.
You could look at it that way.
It's impressive.
Most provincial fans would look at it that way. Football fans would look at it like, it looks ridiculous.
Wow, it's just you.
Yeah, well,
You know how many people came at me last night about your tonnage argument?
Listen, the people that came at you just say, Mike says this. Mike says you're a provincial Eagles fan, and he gets why you would like it. Okay, just tell him that.
It's a football
right.
play.
610-632-0975. Vicente from Ecuador is on hold. We'll get to Vicente after this.
Fanatics Sports Update.
Phillies with a home opener. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Wawa with Wawa's new $2 for $6 menu. Craft the order you want with options at $2, $4, and $6. Limited time only. Gotta have a Wawa. The Phillies, bats came alive late to power a 6-1 win in the home opener over the Rockies. Edmundo Sosa hit a go-ahead double in the 7th, then homers from Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, and Nick Castellanos put the game away for the Phils. Now the Phillies off today before hosting the Rockies again tomorrow night. Down at the NFL owners' meetings, the debate raging on about the Tush push, but the vote for the Tush push has been tabled. It will not happen at these meetings, so the Tush push lives to see another day. Nick Sirianni addressed that, the Eagles offseason, and the future of Dallas Goedert when he met with the media. Here's what he had to say about the veteran tight end.
Right now, he's on our football team, and obviously Dallas Goedert has meant a lot to us. We'll see how that plays out. He's a heck of a football player, heck of a leader, and yeah, want to be able to have back as many guys as you possibly can, but that is not the reality of the NFL.
We'll keep you updated with anything that happens with Goedert. Elsewhere, Flyers beat the Predators 2-1 last night. 76ers return to action tonight in New York against the Knicks. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Rocket. Rocket.com is a single, seamless home ownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and even refinance your home. Visit Rocket.com today, the new home for all things home ownership. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, it's 10:57, a Mike Missanelli show. This is April 1st. So, do you realize that on this day, how many years do you think have gone by with cigarette ads being banned from television? How many years ago do you think that happened?
15.
Right?
15?
15 years ago.
Really?
I think we might be on the same newsletter in the morning because I saw this morning.
Okay.
I'm not going to ruin the theater this moment.
Am I way off?
55.
So off.
55 years ago, Richard M. Nixon
Really?
signed legislation that banned cigarette ads on television and radio.
55 years ago?
55 years ago. Can you imagine? I can't believe it was 55 years.
Wait, so you're telling me I have never seen
No.
a cigarette
And
commercial?
I could have sworn I saw one, fairly recently. 55 years have gone by.
That's crazy. I feel like I've seen them.
I know. It is kind of strange, isn't it?
That is
He
strange.
signed legislation banning cigarette ads on television and radio. Now, that's a ballsy move for a president who was kind of a, knucklehead because he took away a lot of lobby money, took away a lot of contribution money.
Yeah, that's wild. 55 years.
55 years ago.
It's just interesting because you were still able to smoke in public places up until what?
Yeah, but no ads on, they were trying to curtail the whole thing. There had been a lot of lawsuits that were filed.
Very interesting. By the way, we got an update too, Mike, on the vote for the Tush push.
What do we got?
So according to Jordan Schultz from a Starbucks, sources, there were 16 teams who were in favor of banning the Tush push.
Whoa.
That would have been 8 short of the amount needed.
Whoa.
So when I tell you it is bad news that they tabled this, this is why.
You think they get 8 more votes?
That's what they're trying to do. Why else table it?
They're trying to do it, but like the people that didn't vote for it now, why are they going to change? Are they going to, it's like quid pro quo type of situation? They're going to get something for giving a vote?
It's possible. They're going to try to convince them.
Those lobbyists.
Well, let me ask you, if you're one of these people that don't run it, why would you care not to ban it? Like if you have,
you wouldn't care.
So
That's
just,
why I'm
oh,
saying,
sure, I'll vote for it.
I think it's eventually going to be gone, and I'm surprised they didn't vote on it. Well, I guess if they voted on it and it didn't go well, it was gone forever, I guess, right? That she can bring it back up the following year. Anyway, you're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show. It's 97.5, the Fanatic. It's WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia. Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities.
And I'm looking at the eight teams that they could try to convince. Like, they're not going to be able to change the Eagles' mind. They're not going to be able to, hopefully, Kellen Moore with the Saints has said he's okay with it. Steichen said he's okay with it. Now, look, we keep talking about what the coaches say. Coaches don't vote. You just have to hope that the coaches are in the owner's ear saying, no, don't vote against this. Can we trust Jonathan Gannon?
I want to know why people are coming so hard at me for this thing. Because 2 years ago, it was pointed out to me in a tweet. You've been consistent all along. 2 weeks ago, before the Eagles even made this that famous, you were against the play. And I was. It just doesn't look right to me. And so people are going, what? Well, I'm some kind of a traitor or a heathen? Like, you can still get the first down with your skill. You got an offensive line that's great. You have a quarterback who could squat 800 pounds, who's got that kind of strength. Get the quarterback sneak that way. I don't understand why this is such a hardship that the tush pusher would be banned for Eagle fans.
Because there's no valid reason to ban it. It doesn't cause injuries. It's not an unstoppable play. And when people say it's not a football play, I think that argument is disingenuous.
Yeah, it's not disingenuous. It's not a football play. It looks ridiculous when you look at it.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I actually tweeted this out yesterday.
I didn't read your tweet.
What do you think
I'm
about?
not interested in any tweet that's against me.
What do you think about the spiking the football to stop the clock? Is that a football play?
No.
No, it's not.
No.
And in 1993, the NFL wrote an amendment to the intentional grounding rule to allow you to clock the football because they wanted to make it so that teams would have more time towards the end of games. Yeah. It's not a football play. It should be intentional grounding.
But it benefits the game.
And this doesn't.
No.
But the tush push does.
Because you're saving clock because you're only doing that to get back in the game to make it a thrilling conclusion.
But it's not a football play.
It's not a football play. And I at first I didn't like it either. But then I go, you got to give the quarterback more leeway than anybody else.
Yeah, it's not a football play. See, all the arguments that are made against the tush push, I think you could talk about clocking the ball. Not a football play, not aesthetically pleasing to the eye.
Bill, your provinciality is coming out.
I don't think it is.
It's total provinciality. If you would just admit it, we can get along on this.
This has nothing to do with being an Eagles fan.
Of course it does.
It has to do with the fact that there is no valid reason to ban this play. None.
This is your way of bonding with Eagle fans against me, so you don't take the heat that you normally take on social media.
I don't take any heat, dude. When I was right all along about this Eagles team,
Here we go. Now it's back to Sirianni.
I remember going way back. I think it was like week 5. I called them a Super Bowl contender, and people told me you're a crazy homer. But
Bill, you've won back the crowd all along.
Yeah, I'm dead serious here.
You've won back the crowd. After being the enemy of the people on the Sirianni thing, you have won back the fan base. And now you don't want to give it away. You don't want to give away your goodwill. So you're pro-tush push.
I am dead serious here. This has nothing to do with being more pro-Eagle.
A little bit.
This is not a play that should be banned. There is nothing about the play why it should be banned.
A little bit.
If the Eagles, let me ask you this. If the Eagles ran this play and they were 50% effective, do you think this would even be a discussion?
I don't know.
It would not.
It doesn't matter to me. Whether
the only reason it's a discussion is because one team does it better.
I think it looks ridiculous. That's the way I don't think it's a football play. I don't care if it was successful 50% of the time or 100% of the time. I really don't care. I'm true to myself when I look at this and say, you're not true to yourself, though. You're true to the provinciality of it. Now, Ray and I know you well enough to know what you're doing here.
I see no problem with the play, Mike.
Right.
Even if there was a Dallas Star on the side.
Right. Maybe you don't agree with me. Right.
I don't agree with you.
All right. So this is a valid Bill opinion and not pandering to the audience.
Correct.
Okay.
Since when do I pander?
Well, this is a pander.
How do I pander? Last year, I went after Dave Dombrowski, and people killed me on social media. And now all of a sudden, Dombrowski is, oh, man, he's been disappointing at the trade deadline.
What you say to me? You said
disappointing.
All these people that came at you over my opinion. Like, you don't want to deal with that nonsense now.
Dude, I have no problem.
You just don't want to deal with it. It's like,
listen,
yeah, you're right. That's Mikey must take all the heat.
When you're an attorney, a lot of people don't like you, man. I'm used to it. I'm going to be true to my opinions. This has nothing to do with the Eagles.
Hold on a second. What do you mean a lot of people don't like you? You were in personal injury. People loved you getting awards for them.
Yeah. Do you think the people I sued like me?
Well, you sued insurance company. You sued the big bad wolves.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't look at it that way.
Well, really? Who likes insurance companies? You think that people care about a verdict that...
Nobody likes insurance companies, but when you have to file a lawsuit against someone, they do take it personally, even though it's not necessarily personal.
And of course, the other side of that is the insurance company loses to you. The insurance rates go up for the consumer.
That's overblown.
So in a lot of ways, you are the enemy both ways.
That's overblown. Insurance companies make tons
Did you ever feel like the enemy? Did you, like, at night, did you go, I feel bad about this? Or were you heartless as an attorney?
Well, I always represented individuals, so I was never heartless because I was always helping someone who had been wronged in some way.
Okay.
So I was one of the good guys, but people don't see it that way. See, here's what always bothered me about being a lawyer. People trust their doctors without question. Every time a lawyer, when I would talk to a client, they would like, there's this inherent distrust.
Well,
like, oh, are you trying to rip me off?
Because people don't know about science. People know about what, being fleeced by somebody.
Yeah, but we do take every word. Usually people take any word that a doctor tells them as gospel.
Yeah, because it's science. They don't understand it. So they go, okay, he mustn't understand it.
They understand the law?
He's the science. No, they don't understand. They understand the principle of getting screwed or not getting screwed.
Yeah. But I think I was one of the trustworthy lawyers, which I think helped make a difference.
Well, I don't know. I've never seen your ratings.
I had crazy good Google reviews.
Did you have good Google reviews?
I had a lot of them.
All right, 610-632-0975 It's how you get into the show. I'm sorry. For Eagle fans, I apologize. I know I've hurt your feelings with this push thing. How can I make it up to you? What can I possibly do to make it up to the people?
You could make up a trade proposal.
I didn't make up a trade proposal. Bill, you're insulting my ability to report. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
The Philadelphia 76.
All right, 11:11, Mike Missanelli Show. Do you see this controversy that your friend Pat McAfee's ESPN is getting involved in right now?
No, I missed this too.
You missed this too? Well, it's about that young lady who there were some people spreading a false rumor about this Ole Miss co-ed who had sex with dad as well, you know.
Oh, that turned out to be a rumor? That wasn't real?
No, it was total fake. It was total fake rumor. And one of the guys who promoted it early was McAfee on his show. He said some Ole Miss frat bro, K, had a KD girlfriend, and dad had sex with the son's girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm reading the story now. So what happened?
So it's ruined her life. It was total false. He said this and kept the rumor going. Other people picked up on it from his show, and her life has been ruined. She's had to change her phone number, her address. She had all these cretins calling her and all this stuff, and so she has engaged legal representation, and she intends to take action against McAfee and ESPN and possibly other those who also have promoted the rumor.
Interesting. Now, it wasn't just McAfee. I don't know if it started on there. That's not where I saw it. I saw it on Twitter. I mean, it was everywhere.
It was on Twitter, and he promulgated it.
Yeah, it was everywhere. Now, how do they prove that they were false claims?
How do they prove they're false claims?
Yeah.
Well, you can. What are you suggesting? Like she would lie about this?
How did this get started?
It actually did happen? No, it didn't happen.
How did this rumor get started?
Somebody just picked it out of the air. Some malicious person posted it.
That's
somewhere.
terrible.
Of course it's terrible. Well, this is the state of social media these days.
And the worst part is...
It caught fire. He picks it up and makes it national.
Yeah, see, the terrible part of it is I didn't even know that it had turned out to be a false rumor. Like, most of the time, you see it, and now everybody just believes it, and you don't see that no, that wasn't true.
Totally false rumor.
Well, that's crazy.
Like, not even, remotely true.
Yeah, I guess they have a valid claim against ESPN and McAfee.
But it's so speculative. Like, you got to prove damages. This is a libel suit, obviously. So, the damages, what are the damages?
Well, she's going to have... I'm assuming emotional distress.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you quantify that?
Got a female attorney named Monica Udden, Houston-based.
Man, it's interesting.
They're going hard after McAfee and ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, I was involved in a libel suit before.
You are? Somebody
Yeah.
slandered you? Somebody libeled you?
No. I mean, I was the attorney involved.
Oh, you were an attorney representing someone?
Yeah.
In a libel action?
Yeah, there was it was a mistake on a news outlet's part. They used the wrong name of someone in describing a crime that was committed, and it didn't last long. They corrected it, but even those few hours...
Yeah, the libel standard, obviously, if you're a celebrity, it's harder to prove. But if you are a regular person... Now, does this person become a celebrity because she was promoting it, or they made her a celebrity on social media, or is she a private citizen, in which you would only have to prove negligence? Right? And not actual malice.
Yes.
Which is...
Look at Mike dropping legal knowledge on us.
Reckless disregard for the truth or knowingly false.
Yes, I don't think she's going to raise to the public figure status. It'll be interesting, though. I'm sure that'll be the argument that ESPN and McAfee make, is that, no, by the time we reported it, she had already become a public figure on social media.
Maybe. That could be the defense. But interesting. He's gotten into trouble for a couple of things, and I think it's just a matter of time before he gets knocked down a peg.
You're not a huge fan of Pat.
I don't like. I don't like silliness, and he's all about silliness. And he's got stooges on his show, and he calls them stooges. It's just Now,
are you going to have any issue when the weather turns? If I start rocking the tank tops into the studio, can I go no sleeves? Ray, is that a violation? No sleeves in the studio?
That's a violation.
Well, McAfee does it.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing. The whole Barstool thing is not what I grew up doing.
I was seeing something the other day. It was hilarious. He has Aaron Rodgers on all the time.
Yeah,
and there was a video circulating on Twitter where, when Aaron Rodgers was on the McAfee show, is when they did the big reveal where he turns the camera and then Devontae Adams appears like, oh my God, they're back together on the Jets. And they did this big reveal for them to win 2 games and both be cut within 5 weeks.
Yeah. Well, can I tell you? All right, let's go to Vicente in Ecuador. Vicente.
Oh, you still waiting?
Vicente, what's going on?
Hola, Mikey, Miss.
Hola, Vicente. ¿Qué tal?
Today I'm so happy because today is my birthday.
Oh, feliz cumpleaños.
Cumpleaños.
Yes, sí.
Amigo. And my wife is taking me to a nice Italian restaurant called Exit 13 and bring more. So, yes, we're
nice.
going to a party. Yes, we're going to a party. Mike, I would like you to dance. Take a chance. Today is my birthday. They say it's my birthday. We're going to have a good time. I'm glad it's my birthday. I'm bringing entertainment all the time.
Oh, that's awesome. ¿Cuántos años tiene?
Yeah. Oh, 68 only. I don't even look like. I look like a 50.
Feliz cumpleaños a usted. Feliz cumpleaños.
68.
Sí, 68.
Yeah.
68.
68. Okay.
Okay, listen.
Yes.
I agree and I concur with Bill Colarulo about not banning the Tush push. What they should ban in Major League Baseball is the Yankees using of the torpedo bat. Because then every time, they have 15 home runs and you never listen to the host saying, oh, swing and miss. They won't swing and miss because they are increasing the chances of hitting the ball. They should ban this, even though the bats are incomplete, full regulation. What do you think, Mike?
You're talking about the torpedo bat?
Correct, Amundo.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the torpedo bat at all. It's not. It doesn't make it easier. It really does not. You still have to hit the ball in the barrel. You hit the ball in the barrel on a regular bat, like people have been doing for centuries, right? You're going to be able to hit a home run. Like you don't need the torpedo bat to square up a baseball. I think it's odd looking. To swing a torpedo bat, and I swung one a few days ago. It has an odd feel to it. Like it's not properly balanced like a regular bat.
Well, the intent is to improve the player's chances of barreling the ball and reduce the likelihood.
Yeah, but it really doesn't because you still have to hit the ball exactly on the barrel to make that mass be effective. And it's hard to hit a ball on the barrel. You see, like, how many outs are there? Like, you don't barrel up a ball, you're more likely to get out than get a hit.
All right.
Yeah.
But then, the pitchers are complaining because they are banned from using any extreme substance to grab the ball and swing, throw the ball with a
but see that's completely different. You have control over the baseball's flight. When you don't have control of whether you're going to hit the ball on the barrel of the bat, it doesn't a torpedo bat doesn't automatically make you hit the ball on the barrel.
Okay, if you say so. You were Penn State.
No, really, seriously, when you think about it, the barrel is the barrel, whether it's a little beefed up or not. If you don't hit it on the bat, you hit it on a trademark, you're going to split the bat, you're going to hit a feeble grounder. If you hit it at the end of the bat, you're going to hit a humpback line drive. That's not, it's the same thing.
Correcto, Mundo. Listen, remind Paul Blake that he owes me a visit to the studio and the Fanatic.
Okay.
Mike Missanelli show.
I will remind Paul Blake. That's your man, I know. It's Vicente. Check
Vicente, happy birthday, Vicente.
This to me, it's really interesting because the Yankees hit some home runs. The Yankees hit home runs because they hit it on the barrel. Like it didn't help them become a better hitter.
Well, Matt Strom, like a lot of Phillies were asked about it. Matt Strom gave a pretty great quote about the torpedo bats yesterday. I saw this from our friend Anthony Sanfilippo. But basically what he said is, go back and watch the Baltimore Orioles. They used it last year. It's only getting coverage now because it's the Yankees. They had torpedo bats last year.
What's his point? It doesn't help or it does help?
Well, there's a longer quote. I'll read it to you on the other side. He basically is taking a shot, too, at Major League Baseball, saying if they cared about the pitchers as much as they cared about generating offense.
Stop.
I'll read you the whole quote.
For crying out loud, if a pitcher puts a foreign substance on the ball's going to dance.
Yeah. Wait till you hear this whole quote, though. This will make you happy.
All right. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies win the home opener. I'm Ray Dunn. This Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies bats came alive late and powered a 6-1 win in the home opener over the Rockies. Edmundo Sosa had to go ahead double in the seventh. Then homers from Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, and Nick Castellanos put the game away for the Phils. Phillies off today before hosting the Rockies again tomorrow night. Down at the NFL owners meeting, the debate raged on about the future of the Tush Push, but the vote to ban it has been tabled, so the Tush Push lives to see another day. Sirianni addressed that, the Eagles' offseason, and the future of Dallas Goedert. We met with the media earlier this morning. Here's what the head coach had to say about the veteran tight end.
Right now, he's on our football team, and obviously Dallas Goedert has meant a lot to us. We'll see how that plays out. He's a heck of a football player, heck of a leader, and want to be able to have back as many guys as you possibly can, but that is not the reality of the NFL.
We'll keep you updated with whatever happens with Dallas Goedert. Elsewhere in Philadelphia sports, Flyers beat the Predators 2-1 last night. The 76ers return to action tonight in New York against the Knicks at 7:30. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Electrical Workers Local 269, the Electrical Training Alliance, IBEW 269, proudly energizing their community for over 100 years. Visit their website at IBEW269.com. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
let that song breathe for you.
So this is interesting from Matt Strom.
So what is Strom complaining about exactly? That pitchers are under more scrutiny than hitters?
He is a little salty of a comment. So again, Anthony Sanfilippo put this quote out there. So here it is. This is a long quote from Matt Strom. If pitchers mattered in this game, maybe I'd have an opinion. But we get checked like criminals every time we walk off the mound, so I don't think our opinion matters anymore. I think they made that very clear. It's all about offense. So, yeah, let's make more offense. Go back and watch the Baltimore Orioles. They used it last year, right? It's only being covered because it's the Yankees. I guarantee if pitchers weren't getting checked like criminals, Jonathan India wouldn't be on the IL right now. I bet Emmanuel Clase controls that fastball a little bit better. What do hitters want to do? You want to go up there and try to hit elite stuff, or do you want to wonder if you're going to go home and see your wife tonight? End quote.
I don't have any idea what that means. But
is he saying you should be able to have a substance on your hands?
Is Matt Strom, is he oblivious to the fact that when you put a substance on a baseball, you change the trajectory of the flight of the ball? Like, what is fair about that?
Yeah, what he's referring to with India and Clase loses a fastball, hits him in the head.
Yeah.
But what is he saying? Then let us have stuff on our...
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
On our hands?
Let us grip the ball better, is what he's saying. But gripping the ball better alters the flight of it and makes it unfair to hit. It's already hard to hit, right? What advantage do pitchers want other than the fact that they all throw 95 plus with hellacious breaking stuff? Like, what else does he want? How many 300 hitters are in the game? Pitchers don't have the advantage?
Yeah, a little bit of an interesting comment.
All right, let me try to explain this torpedo bat. All right, so the premise, good hitting is bat speed on the barrel. That's what good hitting is. That's where you get the miles per hour, the maximum miles per hour off your bat, okay? So in other words, like if you were on steroids and you could possibly increase your bat head speed, that is an unfair advantage. But when you have a bat, you still have to hit it on the sweet spot. A sweet spot on a bat is like 4 inches, no matter if it's a torpedo bat or not, right? So what they're doing with the torpedo bat, they're bulking up slightly the mass of the 4 inches. However, you still have to hit it on those 4 inches. Now, if you hit it on those 4 inches, it is possible that the increased mass would increase the speed, the velocity of the ball off your bat. But a lot of hits come from not hitting it on the barrel, which means the bottom of the bat is a little more beefed up. On a torpedo bat, the bottom of the bat is naturally thinner because the mass is jacked up a little higher in the bat. So balls that you hit off the end of the bat are going to be less likely to drop in for hits. So it all evens out. It doesn't matter. As long as you hit it on the sweet spot with good bat head speed, you're going to be able to hit it hard. Whether it's a torpedo barrel or whether it's a regular barrel. You see people, Kyle Schwarber doesn't have a torpedo barrel, right? He hits it 105 miles an hour off the bat all the time. Why? Bat speed plus sweet spot.
Yeah, and I guess so the positive, though, to the torpedo bat, if you do hit it in that sweet spot, you got more barrel that's hitting the ball.
Maybe. But
it's harder to hit that sweet spot.
It is. It's not scientifically proven. And here's the other thing. A good bat has good whip. When you have a torpedo, you'll see softball bats that are built like this. Softball bats have a pumped up barrel, and it's a torpedo look to it. But that softball bat is aluminum, so you already get bat speed off of it. With a wood bat, your whip counts. So if a bat is not tapered the right way, your whip is going to decline, in my opinion. Now, there's been no statistics from like torpedo bats, the ball coming off a torpedo bat. There have been no statistics that I've read that increase the velocity off the bat because you're using a torpedo bat.
Yeah, I was looking up stats too. I can't find it.
If you go look at the Yankees, all those home runs, you got to give me the velocity of those home runs and then connect it to the mass that's on the sweet spot of 4 inches. If any of this makes sense.
Now, Alec Boehm was using one yesterday, right? Was that he the only?
Did he use one, or did he think about using one?
I thought he had it at the plate. Ray, am I right on that? Alec Boehm had a torpedo bat yesterday.
I believe so, yes.
But Schwarber didn't. Kepler didn't. Castellanos didn't. And all three of them went yard.
It's silly. To me, it's a silly. It's a silly thing. It really is. I think it's more coincidental than anything.
Yeah, we'll have to keep monitoring it once there's more data on it and all. But talking about home runs, our listeners could have made some money yesterday because you predicted a Schwarber home run.
No, Ray I predicted a Harper home run.
Oh, I thought you said Schwarber.
No. Both Ray and I both had Harper, didn't we?
Oh, I was wrong. I thought you both had Schwarber.
No. We said Schwarber would not hit a home run.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah,
I thought that's why I texted you guys because Kepler and Schwarber went yard. I said, we all predicted
it. It wasn't us that said that.
Well, all right, let me ask you because Ray does that. Every game he has a thing on Twitter where you could go in and you could pick a batter you think is going to hit a home run. He calls it Ring It, and you get a point or points depending on what he does. I said on the air yesterday that I was going to go with Max Kepler. I forgot to go onto Twitter and actually submit my vote for the Ring It. Can Ray, as the manager of this contest, put it in since he heard me say it on the air? Can we do that, or did I miss it because I didn't physically go in and write that?
You miss it. See, this is just like a bet when you go, okay, I like but you don't bet it on your app. It's the same thing. Like
I think I agree with you.
Because what you're doing is you're leaving yourself open not to be criticized because you didn't lose money.
I think I agree with you, even though it's against me. You see, Ray, that's how I am. I'm objective in my analysis.
Yeah.
But I will say I had some extenuating circumstances that contributed to this. I almost got killed leaving Chickies and Pete's yesterday on the boulevard.
He went the wrong way on the boulevard. Now,
well, in my defense, let me tell you what happened. So I'm pulling out of Chickies and Pete's, that plaza, and I had to turn left on the boulevard. There's 2 lanes, then a median, then 2 lanes, then a median. Anyone who's been on the boulevard knows. I followed the car in front of me. That's the mistake I made. We turn left, and as I'm doing it, I'm thinking, is this the correct lane that I'm going in? And there's no sign saying wrong way. All of a sudden, we're driving on the boulevard in the right lane. Turns out it's the left lane in oncoming traffic. There's a tractor trailer coming right at us head on. Thankfully, he stops, but now we are stuck in the middle of the boulevard going the wrong way with a median to our right. I don't know what to do. We had to inch our way up to the light.
This is a total Jersey move by you.
Oh, I felt like it, too.
This is such a pristine road Jersey thing of yours where you get confused by the Roosevelt Boulevard.
Remember yesterday we were talking about my father-in-law being embarrassed about my lawn and having to come. Well, he's from the Northeast, so this is even more embarrassing to him that I'm going the wrong way on the boulevard.
Exactly, because you grew up in with the crickets and birds.
Yeah, but the issue was
grew up with the gritty Roosevelt Boulevard.
But am I wrong? I followed the car in front of me, and then the car behind me followed me. So there was 3 of us going the wrong way on the boulevard, leaving Chickies and
3
Pete's.
knuckleheads. The first guy didn't know the Northeast either.
No, he did not.
You follow because you're Mr. Cherry Hill, and the guy behind you follows you. All 3 inexperienced with the grittiness of the Roosevelt Boulevard. As I haven't been down the boulevard in a while, but I took it in and took it out. I cannot believe how many people their homes border the Roosevelt Boulevard.
Yeah.
As you start to get towards the city, people like their homes are right there on the busy road.
And it is a busy road,
it's
too.
tough, really. I think something's got to be done. I don't know what can be done, but that whole thing needs to be rearranged. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
We want to hear from you.
The Fanatic. I know we got a lot of text for all the stuff we're talking about today. Andrew Brand is on the record saying he doesn't think he'll find the votes to get the Tush Push passed by May. Maybe they won't. I don't know. A lot of Eagle fans will be happy about that. I couldn't care less, to be honest with you. If they keep it, they keep it. If not, I'm not a big fan of it. So whatever.
But it is interesting because Brand agrees, saying that when a proposal gets tabled, usually means the commissioner wants it to happen and doesn't have the votes. So you never know. Look, if they had 16 votes, they need to find 8 of them somewhere. And if the Goodell's in their ear, I don't know. I'm getting more and more concerned that the Tush Push will be banned. But I still think, even if they ban it, the Eagles have the personnel where just a plain old QB sneak would be effective.
Yeah.
With Jalen Hurts. And then, and it's interesting, what's the language going to be? Because the current proposed language is that you can't immediately push him. Well, there's like a 2-second delay, and then Saquon comes running up and pushes him?
I don't know. For the sake of the fans here who are holding on to dear life, holding on to the Tush Push, I hope they don't change it.
Oh, there you go, Mike.
Yeah, just for the people. It's like I made my case, I think.
I think that the issue that Eagles fans have with it, that they're trying to ban it, is that the arguments that are being made against it just don't seem to be – they don't have any weight to them. They're disingenuous arguments.
You don't need weight.
Yeah, but then look,
you don't need weight.
I would rather them just come out, though, and say – look, we don't like the play. We don't the way it looks. But to come out, we're trying to be proactive with injuries.
Maybe they should do that. And at the same time, maybe Eagle fans should say the only reason we like it is because it really works for us. Maybe that could happen as well.
Well, yeah, but it's hard to separate the two because the only reason
you said if Dallas Cowboys were doing it, what would Eagle fans be?
Yes, I do think more Eagles fans would probably be against it. I would hope that I would say the same thing I'm saying now, which is, we got to just figure out a way to stop it. There's nothing to prove. There's no evidence to prove that this should be banned for the reasons that they're saying it should be banned, other than the fact that one team does it really well. That's where I think Eagles fans have their hard time accepting it.
All right. Also, the Phillies, they win. They're 3-1. The Braves are 0-5. So if you look at starts, you go, okay, they played 2 Mutt teams. They're 3-1 against the Mutt teams. That's all well and good. The good is they usually find a way late to win games, and they explode. The bad news is, against starting pitching this year, they haven't done anything. They have scored exactly 2 runs versus starting pitching in 4 games. 0 runs against starting pitching in 3 of the 4 games. Any alarm for that, Billy Boy?
I don't have any alarm for it, and we talked a little bit about it earlier. Like, there's a reason why you got to get 27 outs in baseball, and I think when a lineup is this deep, it's going to be difficult for teams to not only get their starting pitcher to go 6 or 7 innings, but then have a bullpen that's good enough to come in and beat a lineup like this Phillies team. So if this continued, I mean, if we're talking about a 30-game sample size where they're not getting any runs in the first few innings, then I would have some concerns. But I think right now this is why you have such a good lineup. Now, interestingly, you mentioned the Braves are 0-5. The hits keep on coming for them, man. Did you see Profar's out 80 games?
Yeah.
Ronaldo Lopez, they had to put on the IL for a shoulder.
Yeah, Braves look like they're having a season of doom. We'll see. Thankfully, they would have a season of doom because the Braves are due for a season of doom.
Well, that'd be good for the Phils, man.
It would be tremendous for
another NL East championship.
Yeah. All right, 610-632-0975. Let's go back to the text board. I'm sure we got a lot of text firing today. Ray, what do we have?
JB in Pottstown saying that he thinks the torpedo bat should be banned due to tonnage.
Yeah, I love it. Tonnage.
Is he using my argument against me?
He is.
We got another text.
However, there's not 700 pounds pushing that bat towards the home plate.
Well, there's close to it.
It's your own hands pushing it towards home plate.
It's all about physics, Mike.
All right, go ahead.
All right, another text here. Not an Eagles fan here. Why ban the play? It's a football play. So what? It doesn't look good. Neither does this new kickoff in the NFL. It's ugly but legal.
Yeah, that kickoff is stupid. Yeah, change that too. I don't like that kickoff.
Well, it got passed, the new kickoff rule.
It did. So
it did get passed.
The other one is gone.
Well,
so the one we saw last year is gone.
No, it's gonna look exactly like it looked last year.
Well, I don't like it.
But that was only a 1-year thing. They've now passed it permanently, and the touchback will come out to the 35.
See, that makes the game look ridiculous. That kickoff.
Well, what would you rather them do?
I don't know, but that makes it look ridiculous. That's too much of a gimmick. I don't like.
I don't think it's
gimmick.
gimmicky.
Yeah, it's totally gimmicky. Come on. What are you kidding me?
Well, look,
Totally gimmicky.
when the argument is made against the tush push that it's not safe for players, that's a lie. But the kickoff was, in fact, a little bit unsafe. When you got guys running 30, 40-yard head starts running into each other. So I like that the NFL thought outside the box and said, how do we keep the kickoff and limit injuries and not make it just a ceremonial play where it's a touchback every time? I commend the NFL for this dynamic
I think
kickoff.
it's stupid. What else you got, Ray?
All right. I've been accused of silencing Bill supporters in the past. I think people that support you with the Tush push feel like they've been silenced here. We got an unnamed texter. Let's just all admit we want the Tush push to stay because we're Eagles fans. It's absolutely a football play. It's not resulting in any injuries, but if it were Cowboys or Giants or Commanders, we'd be very vocal about banning it. Come on, be honest.
Oh, my God. Look at this. A revelation. Somebody actually had the guts to admit the truth.
Yeah, but did you hear what else that texter said? It is a football play, and it doesn't cause any injuries. He's just saying, and I agree, that I think more Eagles fans would have been against it if it was the Cowboys doing it, but you still wouldn't have a valid argument.
There's always a risk of injury when you pile bodies to like 1,000 pounds. It's always more of a risk of injuries than regular. So I would disagree. Now, maybe the data doesn't show injuries, but there always is more of a risk when you have those kind of mass piling on each other.
Dude, in football, there's a risk of injury on every play.
Yeah,
that's why it's ridiculous.
But there's a risk of injury on every play, but not with an extra 800 pounds.
What are you talking about?
You're putting an extra 800 pounds on the pile.
When Saquon Barkley runs through the line and he gets hit by a defensive tackle, an edge rusher, and a linebacker all at once, how many pounds do you think he's getting hit with?
This is more poundage.
You and the poundage.
It's more tonnage. All right, so you got the Final Four all set up. Now, folks, I watched Auburn play, and I go, this team's good. They're really good. So I made what I think maybe is now a mistake. I got an early bet in on Auburn because I think that they'll win their next game in the Final Four. However, I look at the line, and the line is Florida favored in the game, which I did not expect. It's a Florida line. I've already committed to the bet. In addition to that, last night, I'm watching this new show called Mobland.
You said it's pretty good.
It is pretty good. It's the English mob, and they're two warring factions. So my friend, Kevin, I see my phone ring, Kevin. I don't pick it up. I'm watching TV. He calls again. I don't pick it up. I'm watching TV. He calls the third time. I go, you know, when somebody calls you 3 times, it's got to be important. I pick up the thing, the phone. He goes, I got somebody here who wants to talk to you. Passes the phone to somebody. Somebody goes, what's up, Missy? It's Charles Barkley. He's in a bar in King of Prussia. So we're chatting a little bit, and I say to him, hey, I just bet your squad to play in the national championship game. He goes, you did? I go, yeah. He goes, they can't beat Florida. I go, no, what's going on here? 2 ways. He's Mr. Auburn, and he doesn't think they can win the game. What did I do?
Can you cash out before the game?
No, the buyout is like almost the same money. Did I bet the wrong school here, Ray?
Hopefully Charles is wrong.
Probably. Yeah, you probably
did.
got the wrong school on that one.
You're taking Florida in this game?
I don't know, though. Florida hasn't overwhelmed. I've been overwhelmed with the way they've played. I don't think it's that bad of a bet from you, though I'm not Charles Barkley, so.
Well, if he's Mr. Auburn and he doesn't even think that his team can beat Florida, I got no shot.
He could be protecting himself.
I don't think so. He usually shoots it straight. He goes, we can't beat Florida. We lost to them twice.
Yeah, I'm not going to fall in the old cliche, tough to be a team 3 times. Yeah, you might be in trouble over there, Mike.
No, that's not right. And I bet it heavy.
Oh, boy.
I bet it heavy.
Heavy, Ray. A lot of tonnage on that bet. A lot of tonnage.
Oh, man. Usually I'm zeroed in. I didn't look at the line this time. I'm taking Auburn. They're better than Florida. I watched both teams. And I got to see Florida's a favorite. I go, wait, what? It's a Gator line. 610-632-0975. Guess what's coming up? The news at noon. Buckle your seatbelt. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update. Update.
Phillies win the home opener. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Natural Lawn of America. Get free seeding every year. Call 800-FREE-SEED now. The Phillies bats came alive to power a late 6-1 win in the home opener over the Rockies. Edmundo Sosa hit a go-ahead double in the 7th. Then homers from Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, and Nick Castellanos put the game away. Phillies off today before hosting the Rockies again tomorrow night. Down at the NFL owners' meetings, the debate raged on about the future of the Tush push over the last 24 hours. However, the vote to ban it has been tabled, so they will not have a vote on it. Tush push does live to see another day. We'll keep you updated as things continue to develop surrounding that play. Nick Sirianni addressed that, the Eagles offseason, the future of Dallas Goedert. We met with the media. Here's what he had to say about the veteran tight end.
Right now, he's on our football team, and obviously Dallas Goedert has meant a lot to us. We'll see how that plays out. He's a heck of a football player, heck of a leader, and want to be able to have back as many guys as you possibly can, but that is not the reality of the NFL.
We'll keep you updated with anything that happens with Dallas Goedert. Elsewhere, the Flyers beat the Predators 2-1 last night. 76ers return to action tonight in New York against the Knicks at 7:30. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by AAA Car Care. Save $84 on select sets of Ford, Nokia, and tires at AAA Car Care Centers. Offer ends April 15th. Details at AAA.com/mycar. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Funplex is a great spot, man.
Wristbands offer unlimited access to indoor and outdoor rides, 1 hour of bowling, and select video games as we take Ray back to his childhood. But Ray would have to go over to the bridge to go to the Funplex.
Have either one of you ever been to the Funplex?
No.
Phenomenal spot. Really, it's a phenomenal spot. Indoor, outdoor,
Let me ask you a
ton of
question.
rides.
Let me ask you a question. Why would a guy like me go to the Funplex?
Maybe we should all go.
What would I?
Maybe we should all go.
What would I do at the Funplex?
Now, there's a connection to me and the Funplex.
What's the connection?
So my golf club, the same owners,
Oh, really?
same family.
So
owns
you have
Legacy.
carte blanche to go into the Funplex anytime you want?
I've never tried to
Really?
use that.
You haven't? You haven't?
I should probably
You haven't
try.
pulled that lever, have you?
No, I should probably do that, though.
Anyway, you can get this exclusive offer, which is a 2-for-1 deal, at 975thefanatic.com/deals. Now, you got kids. You taking them to the Funplex?
So I took them there 2 years ago, and some of the rides were actually too much for my
Really?
For my
Wait, they
five-year-old.
got rides there?
dude. They got awesome rides, indoor, outdoor, not just the bowling. It is a great spot. The go karts, the whole nine.
What, give me an idea of the outdoor. That's what, a roller coaster? What are the outdoor rides?
Not roller coasters per se, like big roller coasters, but like I guess some of the like similar rides you would get at like a carnival, stuff like that. But some of them are a little
the spinning
much.
teacups,
Yeah, stuff like that.
the shells. Remember the shells?
I do remember the shells.
The tilt-a-whirl.
Yeah, that make you want to vomit. though.
Yes, all those dizzy.
They got stuff like that. Yes,
Oh, they got dizzy rides.
and the go karts and stuff. Yeah, but
Yeah,
it is. It's a
I
cool
never
spot.
understood the teacup thing. I for the life of me, like you have that wheel in front of you, you're spinning the thing as it's going around.
I hate it, dude. I used to love rides. I can't
did
do
too.
them anymore.
At the Wildwood Boardwalk, I love rides. I love specifically the Scrambler. Remember the Scrambler? The Scrambler had these. They would go. They'd swing all around.
I think I remember that
They'd
one.
go crossways.
Yes, and then you would go up against the
Yeah. Yes.
I know which one you're talking
And then the one called the Himalayas, where the coaster would go around like a mountain.
Yes. The best ride on the Wildwood Boardwalk right now is the Great White, the wooden roller coaster. That is
I like the Great
roller
White.
coaster. Great roller
Oh
coaster.
yeah, I like the old wooden clackety clack roller coaster.
Yeah,
where
that's-
you're going.
Yeah, that's a great roller
Yeah,
coaster.
that's a good one. But, those ones where the feet dangle was a little out of my element.
That's the Nor'easter. That one that goes upside down.
Yeah,
with the
see,
feet
Ray
down.
was the feet dangle era man. Like he didn't like the wooden roller coasters were outdated for Ray.
Yeah, Ray, you're still young enough. You still do the upside down roller coasters and stuff?
No,
You know,
no,
Did
no.
you ever do it?
Not a big fan of that ever.
Really?
Really?
No.
Interesting, right? You a little scared?
Yeah, absolutely. We weren't meant to do that. That's not
It's a
something
good
you
point.
man
Right,
was
it's a
meant to
good
do.
point. Now, what if you're on a date and you go to the Wildwood Boardwalk and she's like, oh my God, Raymond, I really want to ride the Nor'easter. Are you
Pull
going
out
to say
your ID.
no?
How old are you? Like what? What?
It's a great
what?
date.
Would that be a deal breaker for you?
If she wanted to go on the
No.
upside down roller coaster, would you do it?
If she wanted to do it, I would probably do it. I would first ask that exact question of how old are you? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. If you don't like, you would give in because she wanted to go on it. Like, I would.
Yeah.
Nah,
I think you have to.
I would say, and this is absolute honesty on my part, a younger version of me was incredibly anti-roller coaster. The only reason I started to ride roller coasters is because of trips we would take, like, through school. Like, you do, like, the end of 7th grade trip to fill-in-the-blank amusement park. That's the only
Really?
reason I would do it, because what, are you going to be the guy that doesn't do it? You got to just kind of deal with it.
I hear you. No, I didn't learn until late in life. No, I used to hold my breath going down when the roller coaster would make its downward motion down. But I realized people say you scream. You got to scream, and that gets it out, and that gets the anxiety, so your stomach
Yeah.
doesn't turn as much.
Were you a no hands guy? Woo!
No, I was never a no hands guy, but I was always like a breath holder. And they go, no, that's the worst thing you could do. Get it out. Go, ah!
Well, there's no upside down roller coasters at the Funplex, but it is a great
All
spot.
right, anyway, 610-632-0975. You are listening to WPN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. It is now time, ladies and gentlemen. Noontime, happy lunch, the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, here is the news at noon with Mr. Ray Dunn. Ray, what do you got?
All right, we're going to start in college basketball today, and we've talked about it a few times. Would Cooper Flagg consider going back to school? Well, if you have dreams of capture the flag for the 76ers, take a deep breath. All is well. John Shire on with the Dan Patrick Show yesterday and pretty much squashed any chance of him returning to Duke.
Have you had the conversation with Cooper Flagg about coming back?
No.
Okay. No. Is there going to be a conversation?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Although I can dream about that.
Yes, you can. I just,
I think that's all it is in this case. I think it's a dream. And I think he's got to take the next dream in his life and be the top pick in the NBA draft and start his professional career.
Wow. Well, he's giving it up already.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love the news.
He's giving it up. I think he's making it easy for Cooper Flagg. I think that's what he's doing. I think that Cooper Flagg is really considering coming back. He doesn't want to be with a crappy team, and he'll roll the dice again. But I think Shire is saying, dude, yeah.
But are you surprised, though, that Shire's even addressing this? I would have thought coach speak would have been, we got another big game ahead of us on Saturday.
I think exactly what he's trying to do is make it easy for the kid so the kid goes, I got no choice but to go to the NBA.
Yeah, but now you got hopefully 2 more games in front of you.
And that's the perfect time to do it. The kid balls out the last 2 games of his career.
Yeah, tell him this is your last chance.
This is it. You're going to the NBA. Come on, you'd be silly to come back. You can get hurt next year, the whole bit. You're going to be number 1 pick in the draft. You can't improve on that. You can't do better than that.
Now, the real question is when he gets drafted by the Sixers, is he playing with Giannis, Mike?
Well, as you know, I reported a little earlier that I've been told by a very reliable source that the Sixers would consider the Embiid and Tyrese Maxey for Giannis Antetokounmpo and another player. And I am stunned that people wouldn't be on board with this in the text board. I expected 100% acceptance to change the landscape of this franchise, which is woe begone because your only alternative is to bring back the same players next year.
Ray, I can't believe this at all, so I want you to clip this because if this happens this summer, you're going to have to replay this. I'm going to have to eat crow.
We'll buy Mike a bottle of champagne, and he can pop it live on the air that he had this one.
There you
and
go.
No one believed it.
There you go.
All right, I'm going to take you down to the owners' meetings in the NFL. And, Bill, I want you to breathe, okay? Take a deep breath because what you're about to hear is going to make you very excited. And I don't want you to go overboard here with what you hear. Mike McDaniel was asked about being on the hot seat, and he likened it to another NFL coach that found himself on the hot seat last year.
I think Nick Sirianni was, I want to be on that hot seat he was on last year. But what else would I expect? You're not entitled to position, and ultimately, if it's deemed that the organization would be best served with someone else, I'm more on board with that than people realize. I think that's a natural part of this is the fastest changing world in sports. Again, Nick Sirianni was on the hottest seat.
Hey, is it just me, or is Mike McDaniel just a true weirdo?
Yeah, he's a strange cat.
Well, and if you have a true weirdo as your coach, did that work?
Well,
I mean, he might be a brilliant guy or whatever they say about him, but when you're a football player and you look at a guy like that, he's odd.
He's very odd. And I don't know if I would want to play for a coach like that because he's really out there. But let me just slow your roll a little bit, Mike McDaniel, because when we talk about Nick Sirianni, the guy had already been to a Super Bowl. The guy had already been to 3 straight playoff appearances before this year. McDaniel's never won a playoff game. They were 8-9 last year.
You're denying that he's saying that he was on the hot seat? He was totally on the hot seat. They lost 6 of the last 7.
He doesn't like that he's comparing himself to Nick Sirianni.
Yes, I don't think you compare yourself to him.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. I get it. And so Bill got offended by that.
Yeah, to answer your question, can you win with a weirdo as your head coach?
Hell yeah.
I think we know that one first.
Well, he's not as weird. First of all, McDaniel is overly cerebral. So Sirianni's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
He's a bonehead.
Yeah, I think Sirianni, I think his players like him. He may be high school Harry at times, but I think his players like him. McDaniel is out there.
All due respect.
Yeah,
he's a bonehead.
McDaniel is out there. Yeah, watch what you say about this.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you just going to let him say that?
I know. Watch it.
I mean, seriously. Now, a bonehead might work more than a cerebral guy.
But to answer your question on Sirianni, I agree. Yeah, he was on the hot seat, and I even thought he should have been coming in. I just felt like he deserved last year, but if things didn't go well, they could have moved on. But now, he's going to be here for a long time.
All right.
We all fertilize.
Yeah, weirdos can't win.
Yeah.
All right, last one here for you. And this is a grammar conversation that I feel like would have happened on this show. It happened on the Mets broadcast last night. They were talking about Luibert Arias, who is the pitcher for the Marlins in the game. His season with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. The name Jumbo Shrimp is an oxymoron. Keith Hernandez had a moment that reminded me of the dynamic between the two of you and something that I feel like Bill would say.
He was the best pitcher on their AAA team last year, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Led them in innings and strikeouts and appearances and on and on and on.
So you're saying he was the best oxymoron?
Yes. He's the best player on the best oxymoron team.
I always thought oxymoron was an insult.
Because of the last syllable.
Hey, is that serious?
So,
Is he being serious?
You're Keith Hernandez. Basically.
That's
what Ray is saying.
That's what I'm saying.
You're Keith Hernandez.
Ray, you're going to use it news at noon to take a shot at me now.
Ray, how about this? Do you know Keith Hernandez? What's that from, Ray?
Seinfeld.
There you go. What's the Seinfeld?
It has to be a Seinfeld.
You know Keith Hernandez.
What are some other examples of oxymorons? You got any?
I don't know.
You don't have any other examples?
You're an oxymoron, not an
An oxymoron. I still don't understand, and I know that I always get heat when I say this. I don't understand how this shtick has occurred that I'm the dumb one of the three of us. How's that? How's that possible?
I think there's been many examples.
Why am I the dumb one? I'm probably the smartest person in this room, Ray. You're on the other side of the glass.
I don't know. It's just I think you've cultivated that role
Yeah,
quite well.
I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Anyway, bittersweet. That's an oxymoron a little bit, isn't it? Bittersweet.
There you go.
Good Bill point.
Oh.
Go Google it. You Google it. Go ahead.
I should Google.
Yeah, Google it.
Let's
In the meantime, we'll take a break. 610-632-0975 is how you get into the show. If you want to call, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to have a phone call. And also on the text board. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Andrew Salciunas.
I get the sense that this is the last.
I don't know how this what the origin of April Fool's Day is, but I've played 2 monster April Fool's tricks on the audience. One is the trade of Curt Schilling to the Cleveland Indians, where I had Curt participate in the April Fool's joke, and the other was Miguel Tejada being traded to the Phillies from the Oakland A's.
People bought both of them?
People bought both of them.
That's just mean, dude. I never liked April Fools.
Really?
No. I never liked...
Did you ever you ever date somebody? This happened to a friend of mine. Women play this nasty April Fool's joke where they go, I guess I'm going to tell you. What? I'm pregnant.
Yeah, see, I don't think that would be a good April Fool's joke.
But
well, also because
April Fool's, it's like the guy has a heart attack.
Yeah, or maybe the guy was excited.
No.
No, I'm saying he could go either way.
Not in this case. When I heard the story, he was not excited.
Do you want to know where it started?
Yeah, where did it start?
You know, I googled this.
Bill, Mr. Research.
So this actually was an article written today on the Rutgers website.
Rutgers.
Yeah, some Andrea Alexander on the Rutgers website. I guess she's a Rutgers student or something.
Yeah.
Story goes back to the 1500s in France when the Julian calendar was replaced with the Gregorian calendar. In the old Julian calendar, the new year began on April 1st, and then it switched to January 1st. So it then became a practice of just telling April Fool's jokes. I don't know why. They kept celebrating it on April 1st, and they were widely mocked as April Fools. That's why. Okay. Because they would celebrate New Year on April 1st, they were called April Fools because it had switched to January 1st. And then it just became a running thing where they would play jokes on people that afternoon.
All right, you ever pulled an April Fool's joke on anybody? No, you're not an April Fool's man?
I'm trying to think. I don't think I have. Now, I'm going back.
Yeah, a really good April Fool's joke can be really effective.
It can be really effective.
Yeah. Like when I did it with Schilling, I duped my own partner. Like nobody knew it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Except Schilling and I. So Steve Fredericks, because Schilling comes on the air, and he goes, "Yeah, I just want to thank the Philadelphia people for, for their years of support." Blah blah blah. He was saying it's one song, and Steve Fredericks goes, "Curt, I just want to say one thing. I'm outraged." And he went off on the Phillies, having the audacity to trade Curt Schilling. So at the end of the conversation, we let him in on the joke.
Yeah, that's pretty good. This is why I was on guard today when I came in. And then you start the show with a trade proposal that you heard, and I'm thinking, all right, here we go. It's got to be April Fool's.
You think it's April Fool's? You really? You've known me all these years. You think that I put that trade out as an April Fool's joke?
Well, you just admitted to doing a whole one where you even had Curt Schilling in on it.
Yeah, but everybody's wise to me now. You can only do an April Fool's joke a couple times before people get wise to you. You can't. Then you got to put it in the cobwebs for forever.
Yeah, I was expecting Ray
a
to have
coincidence
something too.
Today that I would pull out that trade rumor on today. That's what you're saying.
I didn't think it was a coincidence.
You thought it was a planned April Fool's joke.
I did.
Like
Ray,
I got time to play April Fool's jokes on people to think of these things.
Ray, didn't you think it was April Fool's as well?
Yeah, I did.
You still think it's April Fool's?
I mean, if it wasn't April 1st, no, I wouldn't think at all that this was a joke. That's the only thing. That's today's date.
The date is messing you up.
Correct.
The date is making you doubt my information.
You've listened to me on General Knowledge Wednesday. I know the answer to these questions, and I still second-guess myself. So the date is going to, for sure, anything someone says to me today, I will doubt.
Right.
Even Tiger Woods got in on the action today.
Tiger Woods duped people saying that he was going to be able to be healthy enough to play in the Masters.
Yeah, some people fell for it.
Ha, 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 Tiger.
You hate Tiger.
I don't.
You're mad at him.
I don't hate him. I don't know how I feel about him. On one hand, I acknowledge he's the greatest golfer who ever lived. On the other hand, I haven't embraced him, or I just he's not warm enough for me to embrace. Although I don't embrace any golfer. It's weird. Like I don't like any golfer. Now why?
That's interesting.
Why is that?
I don't know.
There's nobody that connects with me enough on the PGA Tour where I go, yeah, I really like, including Rory McIlroy, who everybody loves. And I go, these guys.
Does everybody love Rory?
These guys are like how do you embrace a golfer when they're just so robotic in what they do? Like they don't do any emotional things that make you want to like them or bond with them, right? They're kind of automatrons out there that you know what I'm saying? Like Who do you like as a PGA guy? Like you really connect with? I root for that guy. Is there anybody you root for on the PGA Tour?
That's on the tour now. Not
Nobody.
really.
Like who?
I mean,
Scotty Scheffler. Do you like? He's a great player, and I get it. But even he doesn't resonate with me.
No, I'll usually root for like the underdog. Like when you're watching it and you see these people who. What was the guy's name that just got in the? What was the tournament? The dude backed out last minute, and then they let this guy on, and he had an unbelievable showing. You know what I'm talking about?
J.J. Spawn?
Yeah.
Who Rory beat in the playoff?
No, not J.J. Spawn. That tournament, though.
Oh.
There was a dude, and I'm forgetting. Shows I really rooted for him. I don't even remember his name.
What makes you bond with an athlete? It's funny because I've had this conversation, and a lot of people like golfers. I go, what is it about a golfer that you really like? Like, when you bond with a player in any other sport, it's because they connect with you in some way, right?
Yeah.
Like, how does a pro golfer, connect with you? Like, I look at him and I go, and it's probably because of my background, because I grew up not playing golf. Wasn't really a wealthy kid, didn't have those kind of privileges. And I look at every one of these golfers as somebody who has had that privilege. And they're not regular people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. But with Tiger, I did root for him like crazy. Like, he just, growing up and then seeing what he was doing when I was in high school, college, I mean, he was so dominant. And what he did for the sport, he made it cool. Like, that's why I started to like golf. Like,
you think he made it cool?
Tiger made golf cool.
Really?
Yeah. I think there's a reason. What he's done for the game is probably more than any athlete's ever done for a sport.
Probably, but I don't know. I just never connected with the guy. I didn't like his behavior at all. If you're that great, you don't have to act like a jerk sometimes.
I thought you meant because he was like a sexual deviant.
Well, that kind of stuff adds to it. But I'm talking about like on a golf course. He just never had a connection with me.
You didn't like the fist pump they used to do? I love that.
Yeah. 610-632-0975 back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies win the home opener. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies bats came live. Power 6-1 win in the home opener over the Rockies. And Mundo Sosa hit a go-ahead double in the seventh. And homers from Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, Nick Castellanos put the game away. The Phillies are off today before hosting the Rockies again tomorrow night. Down at the NFL owners' meetings, the debate continued over the Tush push the last couple of days, but the vote to ban the Tush push has been tabled. So we'll keep you updated with the latest on that play as the debate will continue on for the next coming months. Nick Sirianni addressed that, the Eagles offseason, the future of Dallas Goedert when he met with the media earlier this morning. Here's what he had to say about the veteran tight end.
Right now, he's on our football team, and obviously Dallas Goedert has meant a lot to us. We'll see how that plays out. He's a heck of a football player, heck of a leader, and want to be able to have back as many guys as you possibly can, but that is not the reality of the NFL.
We'll keep you updated with anything that happens with Dallas Goedert. Elsewhere, the Flyers beat the Predators 2-1 last night. 76ers turned to action tonight in New York against the Knicks at 7:30. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. TikTok on the tax clock to avoid crowds and IRS late fees. Book an appointment at jacksonhewitt.com before the April 15th tax deadline. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
97.5
All right, 1226. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. Let's go to Seattle, Washington, where my man Michael is out there. Mike, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for calling. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hello. I'm doing well. It is raining, which shouldn't be.
Oh, no, in Seattle? It's no way it's raining in Seattle.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I called about the Sixers trade that you were discussing
yes,
earlier.
where my sources are telling me. Yes.
Yeah, I don't really believe you.
You don't believe me?
No, I think there's a tone into your voice that's classic.
There's a tone to my voice?
I think it's classic Mike Missanelli fronting going on. So I'd have to agree with Ray.
All right, let's just discuss the
Bill.
trade, though. Let's discuss it, okay? Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, I would do it for sure.
You would do
think
it, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't. I rarely agree with Bill, and agreeing that you are probably not telling the truth is where I agree with Bill.
Okay, but
Bill
hold on a second. Well, hold on. Now, let's break this down. If I'm not telling the truth, but it makes sense to you, why am I not telling the truth?
You're just, trying to get some entertaining commentary, which I appreciate. But yeah, I would do it because, at the end of the day, this is a team that's going to finish with maybe 25 wins. So it's like, why not just change it up? And, I could get into details about my faith in Embiid moving forward, which is not very strong. But I would do it, but my caveat is I would do it, but it wouldn't save Daryl Morey's job. I would still be off with him because this is like, okay, great, we're going in a new direction, and that includes the general manager.
All right, so here's the way it would play out. Morey gets fired. Elton Brand is interim GM until they find a GM. They consummate the trade. Then they get the GM. Yeah. Now, you will agree that, A, the Embiid era is over here, correct?
Sadly, I think, yes.
Okay, all right, B, the Bucks have gone as far as they can go with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he eventually is going to ask out anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this trade is actually going to happen.
Okay, I know. Yeah, so just play with me here. Just play along here. Yeah. C, Tyrese Maxey, while a good player, isn't capable of carrying a team.
Also correct.
Well, it seems to me that you've made the case for this trade being true.
No, I think it's what we would want, but that rarely is real life.
All right, listen. What if it happens? What are you going to say to me? You're going to call me your daddy?
If it happens, I will call back and say that you are
my daddy,
right all along.
You're going to call me my daddy?
No, I'm not going to say that.
You're going to call me daddy?
I won't be doing that.
Oh, come on now.
No.
I wish you 4 more days of rain out there in Seattle. Then how about that? All right, Michael. Good talking to you. There he is, Michael in Seattle. Thinks I'm playing. Now, I just laid out why it makes sense every step of the way. The Bucks have gone as far as they're going to go with Giannis. He is going to ask out. They have absolutely very little leverage here. Certainly the Sixers have very little leverage with Embiid because they have to change the paradigm of what their whole franchise is. Maxey becomes the sacrificial guy that they have to sweeten the deal with, because the teams are not really feeling secure about Embiid. Plus the number 1 pick.
All right. Here's the problem, though. I'm looking at the numbers right now. If they were to try to trade Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and then you're saying eventually also trading Paul George.
All right, let's just...
You know how much money you're talking about getting off the books? That's almost impossible.
Let's just stop the Paul George. Next year's team... Jared McCain, Grimes, Giannis, Paul George.
And then other pieces mixed in?
One other guy as a starter, whoever that is.
You're a mediocre.
Paul George as your 3. Giannis as your 4.
McCain's your point guard?
McCain, Grimes.
All right. That's a mediocre team. Like, that's not getting out of the Eastern
That's not a mediocre
Conference
team.
You're not going to the finals. You're not beating Boston with that lineup.
If you count on Paul George coming back to earth, where he now has to be, like, playing with Giannis may give him another challenge. You got 1 year out of Paul George.
All right.
Next year.
But you don't have any faith in Paul George.
No, I don't.
No. So this trade doesn't move the needle. Does it make them the 5th worst team in the NBA like they are now? No. But it also doesn't do what Sixers fans want, which is to get to an NBA Finals.
Okay, but would you not rather have Giannis to build around for the next 4 years or Embiid?
I would probably rather, not probably, I would. I would rather build around Giannis for 4 years than Embiid.
Well, then you're improving your situation. You can't do it all at once. You can't do it all at once, Bill. Am I right?
I think you're stuck with Paul
Kyle Kuzma
George.
makes $23 million. Would you take Kyle Kuzma in that deal?
Yeah, we talked about that. I would.
Okay. Would you take Bobby Portis and Pat Connaughton for bench strength?
And to get it done. The numbers would match?
So Bobby Portis and Pat Connaughton make a combined $22 million. Kyle Kuzma makes $23 million. What is Maxey's salary right now?
Maxey right now.
Giannis,
I'll tell you.
Giannis next year will make $57 million.
All right. Maxey still has $204 million left on his deal. He would make $38 million next year, $41 million in 26, $43.5 million, and then $46 million.
All right. So you have to make up $90 million in salary, basically.
And
with Embiid and Maxey.
Yeah, because Embiid's
all right. 57 of it goes to Giannis. What do you got left? You got 30,000 left. You got 30,000 left. Kyle Kuzma makes 21. Connaughton makes 9. Bang.
And you think the Bucks would do it?
Why wouldn't they do it? What are they getting out of Giannis? What are they getting out of that team anymore? Brook Lopez is ancient. Like what they have to also. They're not good enough. Maybe they think Embiid, in a return to a dominant form, because there's always teams that believe that, could take them further than what this team has taken them.
Yeah, and Giannis has what? He's got
20, 27, 28.
That's a player option.
Yes.
So you think that he's planning on opting out?
Well, if not, asking out. To trade him earlier. How long do you think he's going to go with this? This year's a wash for them. They're not going to do anything this year. What can Milwaukee do this year?
But then, why would he want to sign here? Like, if he's going to leave
just
Milwaukee,
a change of scenery.
But
he's got a player option anyway. What does he care? He's playing with the. It didn't work with Lillard. Maybe it would work with Paul George and Maxey. And the 2 young guards.
So you're going to unload Embiid and Maxey, and you get Giannis for 2 years.
Maybe you sign him for more.
But why would he want? If he's leaving Milwaukee because they're not true contenders, why would he want to come here?
Maybe you show you're a contender next year. What do I know? I'm just trying to change the landscape here. Both teams probably need to change their landscape. That's why it makes sense.
All right. What do you think the probability is that it would happen?
I don't know. Things happen in the NBA. You just saw what happened with Luka Doncic, right?
Well, that was crazy, and now they want to fire the GM.
But still, anybody could get traded.
Right? What do you think? Probability of this happening? Less than 5%? 4%.
That was pretty good.
Ray, you realize that Ray could do the entire show and give opinions just through drops?
Yeah, he could.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah, he knows the drop board so well. It's turned into his voice.
Yeah. All right, 610-632-0975. I'm stunned at the people who think that this is a ruse. Now, I already am on the bad side of the people with the tush push. So now I'm on the bad side by giving them some phony thing?
Oh, yeah. People don't trust you anymore.
People aren't trusting me?
Well, you've just admitted that you pulled the huge shtick of April Fool's jokes before.
Which should make this more valid. Because people are already on to me.
I'm not buying it. All right. Are you going to ever admit that it was just an April Fool's ruse or not? Or we just have to go home and just...
You are asking me to admit something that's not a ruse. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Tyrone Johnson.
They're in the Sixers territory.
It's 12:40. Mike Missanelli Show. I think we should get back to the text board, see what people are saying. And then I'm going to play something, Bill, because I love you dearly. I'm going to play something that's going to support your cause.
All right. I'm all for that.
See, this is the type of guy I am. You think that I would just tailor every argument to my side. But I don't do that, Bill. I put it all out there, and I let the objectivity take over.
Mike, everywhere I go, when people come up and say, is Mike really that big of a bleep off air? I tell them, no, he is not.
I had someone ask me yesterday, what's it like work with Mikey Miss?
I get that everywhere.
Everybody gets that question, and I don't understand it. I don't understand the question. It's delightful to work with me. It is absolute. It's an absolute joy. I fill your day with glee.
Now this is the April Fool's joke coming.
No, it's the truth. Everybody who's ever worked for me, like the people, when they ask him that question, they go, "Well, it's actually not that bad."
I do stick up for you.
It's just not. It's not that bad. I don't know what the perception is, but it's just not that bad. He's just a very opinionated, honest guy, and he doesn't care whether the opinion is against the grain or not.
You're a lot better off air. That's all I'll say.
What does that mean? Explain that. Explain that.
You're better to deal with off air.
Explain what that means. Like, well, how am I to deal with on air because I have a strong opinion? And I try to argue my opinion. And if it falls flat, it falls flat. It's up to the people to decide on the argument. Now, I happen to pick topics that maybe people have a different opinion about. But I try to include logic in why I have this opinion.
You're right, Mike.
Wait, are you giving up?
No, I'm not giving up. It's not your opinions. It's when you and I disagree sometimes. You'll come at me. Oh, shut up. Oh, you're an idiot. Well, how many times that happened?
There are times.
Oh, you're a meathead.
Well, listen, your
mind works in a very interesting way.
There are times when that rings true. And so, again, this is just a reflection of my honesty. It's a petty little bitch.
Who is that about? Who's the petty little bitch?
I think it was Carson Wentz.
Oh, that's going way back.
No, that was recently. That was a part of our recent update. That was the first time I was able to use that one.
That's a good one.
It's a petty little bitch.
That's a good one.
I love it. I've been waiting to break that one out. It obviously pales in comparison to...
The key to doing that right, and he figured it out, is that you have to open your throat completely. You can't swallow.
But this one's pretty good, too.
It's a petty little bitch.
Those are good. Those are good.
Are you allowed to say that on the air?
I hope so, because Ray dropped it a few times.
Yeah, you got to get this soundbite right. It's Carolyn Peck, the women's basketball analyst. You know, I'm sure you know who that is. And she says the word bench, but it comes out, bitch. So we got to play that. We got to get that one. That's a good soundbite.
Oh, man.
All right. So apparently I'm better off the air than I am on the air.
Mike was offended by it. Of all the things I've come at him with, Ray.
As a person, apparently I'm better off the air than
You're very bold.
On the
You're very bold. Anthony Reed. I can't believe of all the things I've said to Mike, that's the one that offended him.
Yeah, well, you know.
That he's better off the air.
I tell you, I just try to be me.
All right, I got some good news, though, for those who follow the odds on things. Your Fighting Phils are now favorites to win the NL East after 1 week.
Over the Braves, because the Braves are off to an 0-5 start.
Not only are they over the Braves dropped to third in the odds. The Phillies are a plus 120 to win the NL East. Right behind them is the Mets at plus 165. The Braves have fallen all the way to a plus 270.
Yeah, I guess the Phillies situation isn't as dire as a lot of people thought.
No, this is pretty damn good.
I was bitching and moaning about the lack of depth in their bullpen, and I was bitching and moaning about not having a right-handed stick to balance out what Kepler gives you. But so far, Kepler has been pretty good.
Yeah, he has.
Pretty solid. You know, he's such a strong dude, man.
He's a unit.
He is a unit.
As Brandon Marsh would say.
You know, he's a strong man. When he stands in there, he looks strong. He looks like the Babe when he stands in there. Like he's ready to wreck something.
He looks good. How about Joe Ross yesterday looking good coming out of the pen?
Joe Ross.
There we go. That's that bullpen arm you wanted.
Yeah, Joe Ross. All right. Good job, Joe. All right. So Kyle Brandt, who's first of all, this show, like, what's the story with this Good Morning Football show?
Well, Schrager left to go to ESPN.
Yeah, they moved out to West, and they continued the show. And Schrager's leaving now for ESPN.
So I don't know what the plan is now. Who's replacing him? Do we know?
I don't know who's replacing him. It should be you. Why don't you put yourself in for that job?
And leave you? What are you, crazy?
Well, apparently you don't like me on the air, so you might like Kyle Brand a little better.
All
right, so
wait, someone in the YouTube MBD in the YouTube chat. Mike busts Bill's chops literally all show. Bill says one thing, and now Mike pouts. It's like spot on. I said one thing, now you're like,
pouting. Mike's trying to get to the root of the situation.
I guess I'm tough to deal with.
Why am I a better guy off the air than on the air? That's what you said.
You're a lot easier to talk to.
You said it, not me. You said it.
But what do you mean? What's the deal with the Good Morning Football? You saying now that Traeger's leaving, or just in general?
In general, is that show going to survive? It's kind of been teetering.
Well,
do you watch that show?
You know what I watch, and I never watched the show live, but Brandt does a good job with his angry runs. That's the only thing I know from it.
What's that? I don't even know what that is.
Every week, they pick an angry run where like a ball carrier has like this really aggressive run, and then they get a what's he give him, Ray? What would you call that? A specter? No, that's not called a specter. What is that called? The thing that you hold like a wizard would have?
Yep.
Ray, why are you letting me struggle here?
No, you're not a bonehead. What?
A scepter.
A triton?
A scepter.
A scepter?
A scepter.
Okay, a scepter.
Yeah. I was going to say another word that I knew wasn't the right one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, do we have this, Ray? You don't have it? I guess, all right.
You got to stop with these flimsy, wispy injury concerns. The NFL, more than any time in its history, is all over the injury front. I will say this again, and I want you guys to listen. I want you guys, anyone looking to ban this, don't show up to the tush-push gunfight with the pocket knife of injury concerns. Because if you do ban the tush-push, then instead of Jalen Hurts pushing his way into the end zone, he's going to turn and hand it to Saquon, who's going to run a conventional running play with a leading head start, with more impact, with more collision. The old-fashioned running play at the goal line has a higher injury risk than the tush-push. So get away from me with that. If there's some other reason other than this nonsense obscure, it doesn't look like football to me. It's because it's kicking your ass in football. That's why you don't like it. All I hear, injury concern, it's nonsense. Doesn't look like football. Stupid, desperate, reaching. What else is there? Until I hear something, you better not vote against this thing. And if you do, you're only doing it because you know you have to go through the Eagles and they do it better than you.
First of all, that was much more eloquent, Bill, than you could have ever said it.
Well, and that's a Princeton education.
It's exactly your point. And it's almost like he's talking directly to me with that. But please, spare me the more impact. How in the world is there more impact than with 800 pounds of thrust behind a play? Yeah, that sounds stupid for a Princeton guy.
There is no head of steam with the tush push. There's no head of steam. You're not running. I would argue there's more risk of injury on a simple, straightforward tackle in the open field when you got two guys with full heads of steam than you get with the tonnage behind the quarterback with the tush push. There's no head of steam. It's basically like a.
You ever see the cartoons?
It's a pile up
where the cartoon character's in the middle of the street and he gets run over by a steamroller. You ever see that and he flattens them?
Yes.
All right. That's that same principle. You're getting flattened by a steamroller. You're getting 800 pounds coming on top of you.
But all the times that the Eagles have ran this play, have you ever looked at it and said, "Oh man, someone's probably hurt"?
I've never said
someone's probably hurt over there.
I've never said anything about people getting hurt. That's not my rationale. He's talking to me when I say it looks ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's not a football play. That's what he's talking to me about. I didn't say anything about getting hurt. I'm just saying it's a lot of weight. It's unstoppable when you run it right, and you should be able to run it right. You have 800 pounds of thrust behind you. There's no way they should stop that. That's what I'm saying. That's what makes it unfair.
Now it's unfair.
610-632-0975 is how you get in. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies win the home opener. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Corona. This Thursday, April 3rd from 1 to 3 p.m. Join Andrew Salciunas and the Fanatic crew at New Deck Tavern in University City for a Philly baseball watch party. Thanks to Corona. He's got custom 97.5 The Fanatic baseball t-shirts, awesome prizes, and $5 Corona bottles. The Phillies bats came alive, power 6-1 win in the home opener over the Rockies. Edmundo Sosa to go ahead double in the seventh, and homers from Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, Nick Castellanos put the game away. Phillies off today before host the Rockies again tomorrow night. Down at the NFL owners meeting, the debate raged on about the Tush push, but the actual vote to ban it has been tabled, so we'll keep you updated with the continuation of the conversation about whether they should allow the Tush push. Nick Sirianni addressed that, the Eagles offseason, the future of Dallas Goedert, all while he met with the media earlier today. Here's what he had to say about the veteran tight end.
Right now, he's on our football team, and obviously Dallas Goedert has meant a lot to us. We'll see how that plays out. He's a heck of a football player, heck of a leader, and want to be able to have back as many guys as you possibly can, but that is not the reality of the NFL.
We'll keep you updated with how it does play out with Dallas Goedert. Elsewhere, Flyers beat the Predators 2-1 last night. 76ers return to action tonight in New York against the Knicks. You can hear the game live right here on The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Jackson Hewitt at Matters Who Does Your Taxes. TikTok on the tax block to avoid crowds and IRS late fees. Book an appointment at jacksonhewitt.com before the April 15th tax deadline. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, Bill, what do we got going here at the big station?
This is always good, man. So the Fanatic signing bonus cash contest is coming back. So this
Cash contest where you get free cash.
Free cash. So 97.5 The Fanatic and Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia present the Fanatic signing bonus. It's your shot to win $1,000 5 times a day. So beginning on Monday, weekdays, listen at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 noon, 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. We're going to announce a keyword, and you'll have 25 minutes after the hour to enter it. And there's 3 ways to do so. You go to our contest page at 975thefanatic.com. You can visit the Fanatic app on your mobile device, or you can text the keyword to a special short code 45911, and one winner at each time we announce it, $1,000, sponsored by Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia.
Wow.
Pretty awesome, man.
That is pretty good.
So we'll be doing that starting on Monday. But I think, is this across all stations, right? It's not just the Fanatic, or is it just us this time?
That's a great question. I would love to get the answer to that.
Yeah, because last year...
Walk down the hall, I will be sure to ask.
Bill was supposed to have all the answers.
Well, yeah, I don't have it all.
Bill was supposed to read this.
Well, you know what?
He's supposed to have all the answers.
I think it's just us because it says the Fanatic signing bonus.
Well...
Was that what it was last year, too?
Yes.
Right.
Usually it's called the signing bonus for us, and I don't really know what it's called down the hall because usually I'm the one coordinating the signing bonus portion of
Mike,
this whole thing.
last year...
I wasn't here last year.
Yeah, last year it was across all of our stations. So when we would do our keyword at noon, we didn't always get a winner. It could have been at one of the other radio stations. So hopefully this is just ours because we want to get winners from our show.
I was doing last year at this time.
Golfing?
No. I was trying to decide what to do for the day. I like get up. I go, all right, I'll have coffee. I'll read all the newspapers and such. Yeah, like 10:30. Mid-morning nap.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Get up. Maybe I do some yard work.
When you say read the newspapers, you still holding the paper?
No. Online.
You do it online? You don't get it delivered anymore?
No, I don't get it delivered. I get it online in newspaper form.
Do people still get it delivered?
I read the New York Times. I read the Philadelphia Inquirer. I read the New York Post. I read as much as I can on the daily publications.
Do you miss holding it in your hands?
Not at all. Not a little.
I know
bit.
there are some people who prefer.
Here's this difference. When you get it, you get the newspaper in newspaper form online, and you can expand the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you
don't get any ink on your hands.
It's amazing that when you can expand the screen on a laptop, how that changes the perspective on actually reading something. And I'm talking about books even. When you can expand the screen on and read a book online, like a Kindle or whatever, you can't go back.
See, now, I've taught my wife is a big reader. She wants the book. She doesn't want the reader.
Well, listen.
She likes holding the book.
It's nice to hold the book. I get it. But I guarantee you that it becomes so much easier to read. With the lit-up screen and the expanded font makes it so much more enjoyable to read. Now, I'll read books, too. You go to the beach, you're not reading off a laptop. You read a book, right?
Well, you could bring your Kindle, I guess.
Yeah, you could. But it's hard to, the sun shining and all that stuff. So, yeah. But the world has changed to the point where if you now pick, I don't even know why they sell newspapers. I got to be honest with you. I don't even know who buys newspapers anymore. I don't even know why they publish the Daily News. Like, why would they publish the Daily News? Who reads the tabloid now? Like, the tabloid was designed you read on a train or a subway or whatever.
Yeah, I have no idea who would.
Who does that anymore? Like, how many newspapers do you think are published? By the way, you're listening to WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station. We broadcast from Comcast Business Studios. Who Powering Possibilities. Who actually picks up a newspaper these days? Who goes to Wawa and buys a newspaper?
And not the day after a Super Bowl victory so you could get all of the ones that said champs.
Exactly. Now, Ray got his souvenir copies of newspapers. What I'm saying, once you get it in laptop form, why would there be a need to buy a newspaper unless you're 100 years old?
Yeah, I'm curious if anyone on our text board still gets the print version, but I went right to Google.
How many? Seriously, how many? Remember, they used to have they used to sell bushels of newspapers. They used to drop them like they were all bound up and tied, and you drop them in a convenience store, and they have to lay them out there. Like, who does that anymore? How many do they bring to a Wawa? 10?
Well, according to Google, there's an estimated 21 million print and digital newspapers, but it says that there's still people who buy it. How many people still do the print, though?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Who picks up a copy of a newspaper now? Like, for instance, if you're an Inquirer reader, you don't even have to subscribe to the Inquirer. You go to Inquirer.com, right, Ray? Is that the way it works? You go to Inquirer.com?
Yeah, that's how
and
I
all the
read it.
news stories come up?
Well,
now, I subscribe, so I pay like $21 a month to get the paper delivered to my inbox.
Well, there's a free article limit that you reach in the Inquirer. Eventually, they'll
Oh, there
stop
is?
you.
And
Yes.
you can't go to Inquirer.com and just read the news?
Correct. You would have to be.
Yeah, once you hit your number, then you need to be a member.
Okay.
Which we all sign. I think we all have our membership. So we all, I have one.
I get the
I have one.
I get the newspaper delivered in my inbox, which is today's Inquirer. And you get the Daily News. But I haven't touched the Daily News box in a long time because it's the same stories now. That's what I'm saying. They have commingled all the stories that are in Inquirer will also go in the Daily News. So what reason would the Daily News have to exist?
It's a good question.
There have been rumors that the Daily News was going to stop publishing for at least when I worked for the Inquirer. I mean, you're talking about now 40 years that they've talked about not publishing the Daily News, and I wonder why they still publish it. Can anybody answer that question on the text board?
610-632-0975. I don't know the answer, man.
I'm serious. Like, the world has changed so much when it comes to news gathering.
Well, dude, I remember
and news display that it's so obsolete to get a physical copy of something.
I remember. You remember Andrew Van Slyke, baseball player?
Andy Van Slyke?
Yeah.
Andy Van Slyke. I don't think he was ever called Andrew.
Well, that was his formal name. But yeah, Andy Van Slyke. I remember having to
That was his formal name.
I remember when he got signed by the Phillies, which
way back, yeah.
What year would that have been?
He was done with the Pirates and the Cardinals.
Yeah, I don't even know what year that would have been. But I remember the only way I could confirm it was I had to call the radio station, and I asked the producer when they answered the phone. I mean, I must have been a little kid. I was probably like 12. Did the Phillies get Andy Van Slyke? And it was like, yeah, they did. All right, thanks. And I tell my grandma, they did. They got Andy Van Slyke. Like, that was how you used to get news back in the day.
As someone that's answered the phones here before, I want you to know you are my least favorite form of the caller.
Well, in today's world, yes, because that's a simple Google search, Ray. But you got to put yourselves in little Billy, 12-year-old shoes. There was no way to get that information.
Well, how'd you have the information? Did you just have an inkling? All of a sudden, it seems like Andy Van Slyke is somewhere near me right now. Maybe he signed with the Phillies.
No, somebody said, it was like my uncle or somebody had said that they heard that coming in to my grandmom's house. I don't remember.
You didn't trust your
It was a
family
tough time back then. It was
You
a
didn't
tough
trust
time
your
back
family member there with the information. He probably heard that on the radio. You called the radio station. That poor producer picked up the phone like, okay, who we got here? It's, hey.
Trust but verify, Ray. Trust but verify.
Yeah, you have to get the paper tomorrow. Don't bother that producer. Come on.
Andy Van Slyke.
Listen, I am partial to the newspaper, obviously, because I grew up reading newspapers, but I also worked for newspapers for an extended period of time. I used to put the paper together, Bill. I would write the headlines and literally paste up the story to the actual format of the newspaper. They would then take a picture of it, and the negative would then be run off for the copies of the newspaper.
Was MG Missanelli always on the cover?
MG, I was always MG.
Yeah, was he always the above the fold?
Well,
was he an always above the fold guy?
Yeah, I would lay out the paper that way. But see, here was one of the cardinal rules of a newspaper: never split a headline name. So, like, if you see The Godfather, right?
Yeah.
You remember when he's coming home from the hospital and they flash to a newspaper: mob syndicate boss Vito, second deck Corleone returns home.
Violation.
You would never split Vito and Corleone to the point where you would go with a smaller font to fit the name on one line.
Makes a lot of sense.
And that was an error that I saw in the newspaper. And no newspaper would ever do that. You see the stupid stuff that sticks in my head? Nobody would care. Nobody listening cares about that story.
I think people care.
Nobody cares.
Well, I'm looking at the cover. Yeah, I'm looking at the cover of the Inquirer today.
Uh-huh.
And they did not split the headline.
No headline should ever be split. That's the one caveat when you're writing headlines. You should never split a headline.
And as I'm on the Inquirer's cover page here, you think this should have been the cover story? Rosemont College will merge with Villanova?
It was a slow news day, apparently.
I guess so.
Rosemont College merging with Villanova. Villanova's picking up all the scraps. Have you noticed this? They're just absorbing everything. Cabrini College, Rosemont College, any little college, like Harkham's next. Harkham Junior College in the neighborhood.
Big bad Villanova.
610-632-0975. Villanova tonight, right? What's the line on the game?
Do we care?
I care. The Cats are on their way back, right? I may bet Villanova tonight. Get a line on that game, Bill. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and
Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, so you know it is April Fool's Day today, and I want to pick Ray's brain for this because in honor of April Fool's Day and the foolishness that we got this basketball season with the Sixers team, I'm thinking about people that got fooled, people meaning us, who got fooled by certain situations or certain players in Philadelphia sports history. There's one guy that fooled me more than anybody else ever, and nobody could ever pass it.
I got one.
You know who it is.
Who's that for you?
Ben Simmons. There's not anybody who could ever surpass him in my mind. I have never seen anything like it, where a guy came in and I was so excited for that guy, and he turned out to be such a mutt who didn't care about his profession. And I'm tired of the injuries. Your sister. All right, this guy couldn't care less about his profession, and it offended me as a sports analyst and a sports fan. Nobody could ever surpass him for me being fooled by him.
That's a tough one to top. And I think there's probably a lot of fans out there who feel the same way about Ben Simmons. For me, though, I would say a guy that fooled me even more, and not only fooled me, but fooled Jeffrey Lurie. That's Chip Kelly.
Chip
Kelly was a fraud, man. And he came in here and he fooled all of us into thinking that he was this great offensive mind that was going to change the way the NFL operated. And then he even fooled Jeffrey Lurie into thinking, give me personnel control, and once I have it, things are going to be different. And then he gets rid of LaShawn McCoy and Deshaun Jackson, and every free agent didn't want to sign here because they couldn't stand them. And he goes out and signs DeMarco Murray, even though it wasn't going to work with his style. Trades Nick Foles, brings in Sammy Sleeves. There were so many things that he did. He pulled the wool over my eyes.
It's a pretty good one. Ray?
I think the Sixers season might take the cake for me.
The whole
I think
season.
This is the most fooled I've ever been about a team. Really, the expectations and the joy I had coming into the idea of what this season could be and the season, the way it ended up, this is probably the worst I've felt from beginning expectation to end result of my Philadelphia sports fandom lifetime.
Yeah. Well, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
But I would like to agree with you, but I kind of, I know.
Simmons is a tough one to top.
I foresaw it.
Yeah, Mike was all over this. I got to give you credit, Mikey Miss.
So I can't agree with that. But there's nobody. Come on. Can there be anybody that tops Ben Simmons?
From a player perspective?
I've done this now for a long time. There's nobody even close to anybody that fooled me as much as that mutt.
From a player perspective, you may be right. I mean, there's others that rival it, but just not to that level. That's the problem.
Did anybody that played for the Eagles fool you? A player, not a coach. But is there anybody that sticks out?
Yeah, like the first name that comes to mind for me would be Nnamdi Asomugha.
Yeah, okay. Nnamdi Asomugha is a pretty good one.
Right, like that
Nnamdi
comes to mind.
Asomugha went from all-pro to not even liking the game.
Yeah, it was weird. And then he was like eating lunch in his car by himself at the Novacare complex.
Yeah,
the guy just couldn't play.
He was too cerebral. I think he could play because he had proven he could play.
When he came here, though, he could.
He didn't want to.
He wanted to be an actor.
He didn't want to play. I'm telling you, I sat next to him, and I talked to him for a couple of hours at a banquet. And he didn't have any passion for the game at all.
It's interesting.
Like he was just kind of going through the motions and making a paycheck. And I go, how could you be that good to be a Pro Bowl player and then turn around and just not like it anymore?
Yeah, he's one. As I'm just thinking ones off the top of my head, too. You know another one I think fooled a lot of us? Dominic Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Pretty good one.
I mean, he came up, I'm thinking, oh, my, because you kept hearing about him. And then he comes up and has an unbelievable, about a month and a half?
Yeah, everything he hit was a home run.
Yeah, he fooled us.
Dominic Brown's pretty good one. How about Miles Sanders?
I was never that high on Miles Sanders to begin with, but he did have a good season in 2022 and then goes to the Super Bowl and they didn't trust him after he fumbled on the first play out of bounds. I don't know. I think there's better ones than Miles Sanders. Like, people in the YouTube chat are saying Carson Wentz. I don't think Wentz fooled us. Would you put Carson Wentz on this list?
Yeah,
I think injuries changed him.
I would. He wilted as soon as they drafted Hurts. His body language was such that he got like a hurt little baby.
He did, but the reason I wouldn't put him up there with some of these other names, Carson Wentz got us a Super Bowl. Like, I don't know if he doesn't get hurt. I don't know if he goes on to do what Nick Foles did. But if Wentz doesn't have the regular season he had up until he tears his ACL in Los Angeles, Eagles don't win the Super Bowl that year. So I don't think he fooled us because they got a Super Bowl out of it. Who you got, Ray?
Also in the YouTube chat, you brought him up, DeMarco Murray. I think I was fooled by that one to the point where, and this is young, immature Ray, I went on a trip that I connected through Dallas, and I thought I was the funniest guy in the world. Walked into the Cowboys pro shop and asked where their Murray jerseys were after they signed DeMarco Murray. The guy looked at me and just started shaking his head. I was like, yeah, that's a win for me.
Yeah,
Go
nice.
Birds.
Yeah, it just didn't make any sense. I mean, that one's, I still put him more on the Chip Kelly fooling us than DeMarco
So wait a
Murray.
minute. So Paul George didn't fool you?
Yeah, you could put him
I mean,
there.
he fooled you from Jump Street.
I was very excited about him.
You were totally excited.
Extremely. You know what bothers me, too, is Tyrone was off that day, and I hosted the afternoon show when they made him available for the first time, Paul George. And I got to interview him. And I asked him, and I said, listen, this fan base is starving for a championship. And he said, oh, I'm hungry too. I'm hungry too. I love it. I said, there's going to be a lot of pressure on you. Oh, I love the pressure. I'm just as hungry as they are.
Do we have that in the archives, the Bill interview of Paul George? I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, we should try to find it.
Can we play that as an encore presentation?
Well, when he's saying to me on there that he's just as hungry as the Philadelphia fan base, you think that's true? You think that was a lie? Is he just as hungry as the Sixers fans are?
It was a total lie. First of all, he this was like the afterthought place. Like, he wanted to stay out in California. He couldn't stay out in California because he didn't have the offer. This team gave him the offer.
Yeah.
So he had to take it, but he took it reluctantly.
He was
And that's
wrong.
what you should have read into it. He took that offer reluctantly.
But he was rocking the Iverson shirt at the meeting with Dr. J and Maury. They all had their shoes off.
I want to hear this, man. I want to hear the interview that you did with Paul George.
I think it was me. I don't know who else was with me. Was it Ricky with me? I can't remember who it was with me. But, yeah, we spoke to him. It was when he finally made himself available. It was like the first interview we got.
All right, we're going to try to track that down. I want to hear that. It could be entertaining.
Oh, wait till you hear the hope that everyone had for him, the excitement.
I want to hear the excitement in your
You're going to bring
voice
everybody down.
as you're interviewing Paul George.
I was excited, man.
All right.
I thought he was going to be a difference
Are
maker.
we going to be able to find that?
Efforting it right now.
All right, we're efforting it? What does that mean? That's the lingo. Like, I don't.
Putting in effort to go find it right now.
Oh, it's not techno lingo? You're
No.
efforting it? You're just putting in the effort.
I mean, he could have just said, we're trying.
How do you find that stuff? Like, where is that, right? Where is that, like, in the cloud somewhere or what?
Somewhere in our system for sound for update.
Well, and it's
in the
also
system. So if you, like, type in Paul George interview, Colarulo, it may come up?
Well, luckily, we've done a really good job of organizing stuff
we have?
over the last year. So I think I have a pretty good beat on when it's going to be. I think I remember around the time that was the end of July.
Oh, cool.
How about this? I just Googled it.
You got it?
No, but like AI summarized it. It says, in his interview with Colarulo, Paul George discussed his decision to play for the Sixers, his excitement about playing for the team.
I just want to hear your excitement in interviewing Paul George. That's what I want to hear mostly.
Oh, you act like you've been there, dude. I wasn't that excited.
I
was excited for him as a player.
I want to hear. Act like you've been there. 610-632-0975 is how you get in. Text board or telephone call. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies win the home opener. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. The Phillies bats came alive late to power a 6-1 win in the home opener over the Rockies. Mundo Sosa to go-ahead double in the seventh. Then homers from Kyle Schwarber, Max Kepler, and Nick Castellanos put the game away. Phillies off today before hosting the Rockies again tomorrow night. Down at the NFL owners' meetings, the debate raged on about the future of the Tush push, but no vote on the future of it after the Packers proposed the ban. That vote was tabled, so the discussion will continue across the NFL. Nick Sirianni addressed that, the Eagles offseason, and the future of Dallas Goedert when he met with the media today. Here's what he had to say about the veteran tight end.
Right now, he's on our football team, and obviously Dallas Goedert has meant a lot to us. We'll see how that plays out. He's a heck of a football player, heck of a leader, and yeah, want to be able to have back as many guys as you possibly can, but that is not the reality of the NFL.
We'll keep you updated with anything that happens with regard to Dallas Goedert. Elsewhere, the Flyers beat the Predators 2-1 last night. 76ers return to action night in New York against the Knicks at 7:30. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is also brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers having difficulty hiring today. Robert Half is here to help. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia sports.
It's 125, Mike Missanelli show. Just a couple things that we're talking about during the break have come up. Bill, what are they talking about banning? The nose swipe?
Yeah, I think the one that C.D. Lamb kind of made famous, but a lot of people do it.
What is the nose?
The nose swipe. I thought they were doing narcotics. I thought that's what they were insinuating. Like it was a nose swipe of like blowing a line or something.
No.
That's not what it is, Ray?
No.
What is it, Ray?
It's not that. I can tell you it's not that. From what has been put out there, it is referred to as a gang sign.
Oh.
But again, I don't know if that's what the NFL wants people to put out there in regards to it to justify them.
Well, what else could
banning
it be? Like what relevance would the nose blow?
But I think labeling something a gang sign is a lot. I would say is a umbrella.
It is
that you put over something that you just don't want. Yeah,
but if it's not a gang sign, what could it be?
All right, I'm reading
a celebration.
I'm reading it here.
What's the no? Like what's the no signal?
Here, I'm reading more here.
All right,
so
go
this
ahead.
is coming from Pro Football Talk. That the nose wipe is a gang sign associated with the Bloods, indicating that someone is untrustworthy.
Oh, okay.
So it says Lamb has used the nose wipe as a celebration since he entered the league in 2020.
Okay.
And now it's going to be a 15-yard penalty.
All right. Now, explain this one to me, because I don't get this, and maybe I'm just behind the curve. What is when a basketball player makes a three-pointer? What is the injection in the veins of the number 3, where they hit the vein spot where you usually inject?
Is that like an ice
what
in my
is that,
veins
Ray?
type
Have you
thing,
heard
Ray?
ice water in the veins? Is that what is that?
Feels what it is. I mean, it could be something beyond that.
Nobody has ever known what that is. They always go in the same spot, like with the 3, like an injection of some sort. No, we don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if anyone in the YouTube chat says it.
Anybody know what that is?
So far, they're just saying ice in the veins. I'm wondering if
Ice
that's
in the
true.
veins?
I don't know, but we sound so uncool right now.
Oh, wow.
Like we don't know what the nose wipe is. We don't know this one.
They do it all the time with the 3 and the crux of where you usually get the needle. And I never knew what that meant. Like, why? Okay, I can see ice water in the veins, but it's the 3. It's the 3-pointer. Like, the 3 have significance, you know?
I always just accepted the ice in the veins was what they were
Is that what
going
it
for.
is? Ice in the veins.
That's what I accepted it as. I never really dove any deeper into it.
I have no idea. Oh, man, we sound so...
All right, by the way, I have a good bet tonight for the people.
What do you got?
I'm going to throw this away.
Are you still white hot right now?
I am 15 for my last 17.
That's pretty good. You've been betting some hefty cash, too? Like we going out to celebrate?
No, unfortunately, I have not been laying it heavy. Like, for the Final Four, I laid some heavy. But for all these little wins, they haven't been heavy.
So not a lot of tonnage behind your bet.
Not a lot of tonnage behind my bet. But tonight, maybe some tonnage.
Yeah, but this is ridiculous.
Villanova in the Crown tournament.
The Crown.
It opened at -2.5 against Colorado. They are now -4.5.
Oh, money's coming in on the Wildcats.
Yes, money coming in on Wildcats, and I did a little research. And the research tells me that Colorado in the Big 12 was 3-17 and had lost 13 straight league games at one point. Villanova, meanwhile, their whole team is playing.
You going to watch it?
I am taking the cat. This might be a game that I bet but don't watch.
Yeah.
There's no way that you can watch this game.
Although
right?
no baseball tonight, at least from the Phillies' perspective.
Yeah, too many days off early. You know?
Yeah, they build them in for
Friday
rain days.
day off, and then Tuesday day off. I don't like it.
But then after today, I don't think they have a day off for a while, right, Ray? The Phils?
They're going to go on a stretch here where, I think they play. I don't know if this is the portion, but I think there's like a 16-day stretch where they play in a row.
Yeah, I'm looking now. Oh no, actually, they do get a day off. So they got 3 after these 2 next Wednesday, Thursday against the Rockies. They got 3 at home against the Dodgers, then a day off.
Then it's the 16th.
And then they go to Atlanta, come home, and then go to St. Louis, home against the Giants, home against the Marlins.
See, now they'll start to play some better teams here. So
it's going to be an exciting series against the Dodgers.
Yeah. You're right. Dodgers come in early, and then who else? Who's at their Dodgers?
They got an off day, and then they go to Atlanta. And you're getting Atlanta right now.
All
It's
right,
a mess.
Now, this is where the schedule gets a little tougher. So it's the Dodgers for 3 at home, 3 at Atlanta, 3 at St. Louis, and then 4 with the Giants here. So when you project those games, Bill, let's go. Let's see. That's 9 and that's 13 games, and 6 of them on the road. What do you anticipate there record-wise for the 13? What would be successful?
I'll take 8-5.
8-5.
Yeah, I'd be all right with an 8-5 thing there because I think they're going to. I think they sweep the Rockies. You got maybe. Are we going
You
Walker
got
on
Taiwan
Thursday?
Walker's Thursday, yes.
But still, you're going to win tomorrow with Wheeler on the mound. So now you're starting the season. I think they'll score enough runs in the Walker start. So you start the season 5-1.
Okay.
And you go 8-5. Now you're 13-6.
Friday night against the Dodgers, by the way, is on Apple TV.
Yeah, I got it.
That's Luzardo. That's right, because you watch Severance.
Yeah.
So you can see that game.
You got to watch that.
All right, so 3 against the Dodgers at home. What do you like?
Oh, man, the Dodgers look unbeatable.
Yamamoto, Sasaki, and Glasnow for the Dodgers.
And who will be on the mound for the Phillies, you said?
Luzardo, Nola, Sanchez. Well, I got to tell you.
It's going to be an interesting
Christopher
series.
Sanchez looks unhittable.
He really does.
And I'm going to tell you, he's got command. First of all, it's really difficult to pick it up out of his hands. He's got a sling motion from the left side where he's got the ball tucked way behind his body, and then he slingshots it to the plate. You don't pick that ball up until it's halfway there. Trust me when I tell you.
Well, yeah, and then he's throwing, like 97, 98, and then he'll come back with a changeup, and it looks exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, when he's got command, he's tough. I got to be honest with you. I think he is a big winner in this league, the way he pitches. He's really tough to pick up. All right, so 3 against the Dodgers.
It's hard to. I think the Phillies are a good team. The way the Dodgers are playing right now,
1-2 against the Dodgers.
I'm thinking they lose the series.
3 at Atlanta, reeling right now, but 3 at home for Atlanta, where Taiwan Walker has to pitch in the middle game of that series. Wheeler starts it, then Walker, then Luzardo.
2-1 Phils. They win the series.
They win the series in Atlanta. 3 in St. Louis.
Same deal. 2-1. They win the series.
2-1. All right, and 4 with the Giants at home.
Split.
And all right, how many wins is that? That's 2, 1 to St. Louis, 2 against Atlanta, 2 against St. Louis, and 2 against San Francisco. That's 2, 4, 6, 7.
Oh, I didn't get my 8-5?
No. 7 and 6.
Still not terrible, though, to start the year, because now you're starting the year, 12?
No, I'll take 7 and 6.
Yeah.
Game over 500? I'll take that.
Yeah, that would be all right. I'm just excited after. I hate that we don't have baseball tonight. Like you had mentioned this during the National Series. Like the series starts and then you got to take the day off.
Yes. But all right. But by the way, we had mentioned the Flyers coaching search here, and I know you are an advocate of the Flyers hiring a certain somebody. Is that correct?
Well,
you would like to see the Flyers hire Rick Tocchet.
I wouldn't be angry if they hired Rick Tocchet. Now, Rick Tocchet is currently a coach right now of the Vancouver Canucks, so he would have to lose his job, but it's trending that way. But I don't look at Rick Tocchet as being here they go again, just bringing back a Flyers alum. Rick Tocchet has coached in 6 different organizations. He's a Jack Adams Award winner last year with the Vancouver Canucks. He's proven to be able to get a lot of... Actually, we don't want the Flyers to keep winning games. They've won 3 in a row. They're messing up their draft status. Look, I don't know who's going to be available, but I don't think that the fans who are negatively reacting, because Tocchet right now is the betting favorite to be the head coach. And I don't think you look at this and say, oh, here they go again, just hiring a former Flyer. I don't think that's fair when Tocchet hasn't been here in, 20 years? The guy's been all around the NHL. He helped the Pittsburgh Penguins win 2 Stanley Cups. He was in charge of the power play unit. Flyers can certainly use some help with their power play. It would not bother me. I know you would lose your mind.
You are so...
It would not bother me.
You are such a Flyer bleeder. It's amazing.
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
You are such a Flyer bleeder. The last thing I would want, and I like Rick Tocchet. I actually have had him on a lot. Really good guy. I hope things end up great for him. But please, enough. Do something unconventional. Do something against the grain. Please don't bring back another ex-Flyer hero.
I think that's unfair.
It's not unfair.
It's unfair
He
to
is
eliminate him.
branded as a Flyer for life.
But you are eliminating him simply because he played here.
Yes, I am.
That's
because
not-
I don't want this perspective anymore. I want genuine change.
But yes, he played for the Flyers. He's the head coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning. He was the
Bill,
head coach of the
Bill,
Coyotes.
Stop it. He's branded as a Flyer, and you know it. He's not branded as a Pittsburgh Penguin or a Tampa Bay Lightning or a Vancouver Canuck.
But why should that matter?
It should matter because you want to go in a different direction. What has haunted this team in the past is this Flyer connection that everybody has to be connected to the Flyers, and therefore unconventional ideas don't slip through.
I think that's just a bad way to look at it with Tocchet. I understand what you're saying. The Flyers have had a history of just recycling former Fly guys.
Flyer orange. It is amazing. As much as you try to resist, it comes out of your pores, Bill. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Sixers win.
Oh, it's 141 Mike Missanelli Show. By the way, our 12 o'clock hour today brought to you by Surge First HVAC, offering 0% financing for 48 months. Rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when purchasing a heating and cooling system. Learn more at servicefirsthvac.com. All right, so it's April Fool's Day. And one of the guys that have fooled a lot of people here was Paul George, who came here really not looking like he wanted to be here at all. But when they first signed Paul George, Bill Colarulo, who was a monster advocate of them signing Paul George. He thought it was going to really transform this team into a championship team. Yeah. Had a chance to be the first interviewer here, 97.5 The Fanatic, of one Paul George.
That is true.
So we thought we would go back in time because I haven't heard this yet, and I just want to hear how excited Bill is to talk to Paul George about Paul George being
it's gonna make me
member
angry.
of the 76ers. So we ready for this, Bill, Ray? All right, here we go. Let's kick it.
Now joining us on the Comcast Business Hotline, new 76er, Paul George. What's going on, Paul?
I'm good.
What's going on, Paul?
We're doing great, my man. Now that you're in Philadelphia, we couldn't be more fired up. So let me ask you, we're excited to have you here in Philly, but tell us why you're excited to be
my man,
in Philly.
My mandem.
I'm excited, man. You when you come play against Philadelphia, the fans are ecstatic, they're passionate, and that's something that you look forward to playing and being a part of now. So really, I'm trying to take in the whole brotherly love here and, from day one, get acclimated with the city.
Oh, my God.
All right, let's just start off like this. In your mind, what do you bring to the 76ers team this year?
I think just dual plays, playing on both ends, offensively, defensively, being the best player that I can be for this group, bringing leadership, veteran, and then just being in big games, big moments, thriving in those situations.
So, Paul, seeing you wear that number 8 Sixers jersey, and I heard you talk about it during your press conference, but I got to hear it again. Why number 8?
For the late, great Cole, he's been the biggest influence and inspiration and the reason why I started playing basketball. And so, for me, it's that importance every time I put this jersey on of what I'm going out there to try to accomplish.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
All right, I got to ask.
This hurts, doesn't it?
You said in your press conference you're also here to take pressure off of Maxey and Embiid. Now, how do you plan on doing that, number one? And it seems as though there are 3 stars here. You included the 3 stars, the 3-headed monster, I'm calling it. And you know what? Is it always like that you should be able to take pressure off of your own teammates?
Absolutely. I mean, from an individual standpoint, everyone loves pressure. I love pressure. I love having that pressure. I'm sure Joel and Tyrese all enjoy and love having that pressure as well. Pressure, I think, makes us who we are and being, stars in this league. But at the same time, 82-game season is tough, man. And so to take a little pressure off one another in big moments, whether, someone's not feeling 100%, then now we can pull the weight for the other person so they don't have to feel that they have to go out
I can't take
and, exhaust themselves every possession. And so, that's just how I view the 3 of us being able to kind of alleviate that and get us through a season healthy.
We're talking to Paul George on the Comcast Business Hotline. Paul, I would love to be 34 years old again, but in basketball age, well, some people may say that's a little bit older. But at 34 years old, you set career highs in field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage. How did you do that at 34 years old?
Just credit to the people that I had around me. I put a ton of work in my body, put a ton of work into my game, and I still feel youthful. I know 34 is the age where you're climbing up there, but as you see, LeBron's playing at a high level, Steph's playing at a high level, KD's playing at a high level. These guys are well beyond 34 as well, but yet they're still performing.
Right,
and I think it's credit.
All right, Ray, you can shut this down.
Yeah, this is bad.
I can't take anymore. Now,
well, I do ask him, though, about being hungry, and that was the part that he really fooled us. We're talking about April Fools. For those just tuning in, we were playing Who Fooled Us on April Fools.
He said he played both ends. Yeah, he played one end, the ass end. That's what he played. So You know, all that. And when I listen to something like that, I go, okay, now how would you interview him? Now,
oh man,
that was the preliminary interview with all hope and glee, and now how would you interview Paul George?
Oh, you're talking about a completely different.
What
tone.
would you? What question would you ask the Paul George right now?
I don't. You know,
you get Paul George on the Comcast Business Hotline. Here's Paul George on with us. Paul,
you regret signing in Philadelphia, Paul?
No, that was
do you regret
your first
coming
question.
here?
You regret signing here? Did you not like it here in Philadelphia? Like, what would be your first question?
I'd really have to think
by
about
all
it.
measures, your first season here has been a colossal disappointment. What went wrong as far as what you can tell?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to blame injuries, right? The big man was never healthy, and you know, I battled injuries, and then we missed time with Maxey.
Do you think you play with as much enthusiasm as you played in the past?
Do you regret not ending the podcast sooner? But that day, Mike, going back to that day, and Ray,
I can tell the excitement in your voice, both of you and Ricky.
Well, Ray will tell you too. He was down at that was an event that the Sixers were having, right?
They had both of their the Maxey contract extension presser, and they had the Paul George. Hey, Paul George is here presser,
and it was a day of excitement. I mean, the hope was running eternal, man. It's just crazy to hear it now and think about how happy we all were and how wrong we all were. Oh, man. Way to ruin my day before the end of the show.
I just wanted to hear what he said. I hadn't heard the interview. I just wanted to hear, like he sounded fairly enthusiastic there.
He was, and I'm telling you, when I told him
what happened?
When I told him the fan base is starving, he agreed. Oh, I'm just as hungry as they are, and I love the pressure and all that. And you just didn't see that this year at all. Now, maybe to give Paul George the benefit of the doubt here, and this is just being devil's advocate a little bit. This is something you touched on. When Joel Embiid shows up the way he shows up, and he's not ready to play, and he's battling a knee injury, does that trickle through the entire team? Did that take away Paul George's excitement? It probably did.
It probably did. But see, here's the thing. And this is why I had a red flag with this guy in the first place. He didn't want to be anywhere else but with the Clippers. He just did not. He thought that his California dream was going to continue to last out there. And he fought for that to stay there for a really long time. Like, he didn't bail out on not being the Clipper. He thought that was going to come. All of a sudden it doesn't, and boom, here comes a team that's going to pay him that. Completely on the other coast.
Well, the Sixers were the only one willing to give him that additional year, right?
And so he reluctantly says, well, I got to take the money. And when you get to a point where it's reluctancy, how good are you? How enthusiastic are you going to be when that thing melts down? When Embiid is not ready to play from the jump and you don't want to be there, how do you feel mentally?
It has to impact you. It has to.
And so you go through the motions, which I'm not excusing at all. Because at that point, you, as a professional, a team that gave you that kind of money, you are thieving them.
Yeah, and being a guy who's supposed to be one of the best players in the NBA.
And that's what you got to read. That's why Daryl Morey can't keep his job. He didn't read any of that. He didn't read the Embiid thing was going to mess up the whole team from the jump. He didn't read Paul George's enthusiasm. He didn't read the fact that these older players can't freaking play anymore.
So what's your prediction? Season ends. Josh Harris doesn't have his eye on the Sixers right now because, you know, he's down in the Breakers probably voting against the Tush Push is what he's probably doing. He was probably one of those 16 teams.
I don't know why. Listen, I got to think the decision's already been made. There is no way that ownership can bring this whole regime back. They have to completely start over, in my opinion. What's the upside of bringing back the same old, same old? You got your fan base that's bailed out on you. Are they going to be enthusiastic that there's been no changes coming into next year?
Do you think they move on from Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse?
You know what? Nurse may survive. He shouldn't survive, but he may survive. He's still a viable coach. He's in demand around the league. So maybe Josh Harris sees that part of it. But Daryl Morey has failed. Listen, I'm sorry. We broadcast Sixers games. We have a relationship with the team. I don't like doing that. I like having a conversation with Daryl Morey when he's been on with me. but you have not performed. This situation has been a disaster. Disaster. And you presided over a disaster. When you preside over a disaster, no matter what the circumstances are, injury, whatever, you failed. It was a failure.
We had Ray just now, when you asked the question.
Exactly.
On April Fool's Day, what fooled you the most?
Yeah.
It was this Sixers season.
Right. How do you justify bringing back the same front office regime that has failed this badly?
I don't see how you can do it. You can't. I don't know how you sell the fan base on it. Now, the only way that I think the fan base would get excited again would be if somehow they luck out with the lottery balls, they get to number one, and now you're bringing in Cooper Flagg. I think the fans probably wouldn't care if Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse were here because you're all going to be fired up for Cooper Flagg next year. But I still think that they should do something. Daryl Morey, this was his first season to really put his fingerprint, and it was a huge failure. Will Josh Harris do it, though? That's something we'll have to wait and see. When do, like, you know how in the NFL there's always that Black Monday? When would we expect to get news on whether or not Morey and Nurse are safe?
I don't know, but this organization has moved on from people. They moved on with one of their co-owners about a year ago. Michael Rubin. They just zipped him right out of there. They have shown when they're dissatisfied with somebody, they can move somebody out of there. Daryl Morey has made them look ridiculous. He really has. And I hate to say that because that's a bold statement. But this guy... He didn't have anything right. Nothing that he did went right.
Yeah, I guess if I'm Daryl Morey and I'm trying to keep my job, see, that's the thing. If you're trying to keep your job and you blame injuries, the next question is, well, then why did you give Joel Embiid the contract extension? Why did you pay all the players?
This is another mistake. It's like, look at all the mistakes that have piled up. And you go, okay, but I'm the owner. This guy still has the philosophy that you can only win with 3 stars on the floor, and it doesn't matter how old they are. That's the guy's philosophy. These owners look around the league and go, look what's winning. Look at the teams that are winning now. Are they built that way? Look at the Phoenix Suns. They're a joke.
Yeah, it's not the big 3 anymore.
All right. In any event.
Get Jay Wright to take the job.
Yeah, Jay's happy doing what he's doing, man. He wears a nice new suit. He gets on the broadcast. He and Clark Kellogg, you know.
Every time that highlight passes me on Twitter, I stop and watch it when Jay Wright watches them hit that buzzer beater.
Chris Jenkins.
And don't even react. Unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not react? He's just as cool as could be.
Well, he was exhausted. It was like the strategy to get through that whole game. It's like exhausting. You win the game, you go, the emotion's gone.
But as soon as
you play the emotion in your head almost at every dribble.
As soon as the shot goes up, you see him whisper, boom, and then doesn't react. Like he just knew it was going in.
He did? He said boom?
Yeah, right. Is it boom or bang? He says one of those.
Did he really?
Under his breath, you see him say
I
boom.
didn't even recognize that. He's doing a hell of a job, though, on that show, and I think he really likes it. All right, everybody, thank you for listening today. We really appreciate it. And tomorrow's General Knowledge Wednesday. I have not decided yet whether we're going to roll with that. Ray, what do you think?
I say we do it.
You do it?
Yeah, why not?
I guess worst case scenario is
how
me
many
versus
phone calls
Ray.
did we have today?
Just Vincente. No, 2. We had 2.
We had 2 phone calls today. We can't do General Knowledge Wednesday with only 2 phone calls. But anyway.
Solid volume last week.
We'll try it again tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody. Talk to you then.